blessed souls. Welcome to the portal of awesomeness. So today we are going to find out why I'm here. Oh! And as you see before you, we have the Unicorn Oracle cards, but there's also Pegasus in that deck and Unipegs. And in real time, today is Sunday, September 15th, halfway through September already. Whew. And in real time, we are just hours away from the full moon in Pisces. And, you know, because I was born on a moon day, I thought for sure I was going to be doing this reading tomorrow. And then, over the last few days, I have just been getting more and more and more weepy, going to past memories, ancestors coming through, telling me things, showing me things. One minute I'm like, la 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 la, I'm like dancing, the next I'm like, you know. So I'm telling you, if you're going through this, you're going through it honestly, because you are a sensitive soul, you're a loving being. If you found yourself to this particular reading, you not only have a special purpose, but you're a special energy. It's important for you to be quiet. It's important for you to be alone. It's important for you to say no, set boundaries. That doesn't work for me in my energy field. We as light workers are like the next generation of the bigotry. We have been pushed down, shoved aside, burned at the stake. We've had so many things happen to us over the whole entire time Earth has been here, and the shadow has befallen man. Ever since greed and the pursuit of control, this false illusion of control came into being. So with that being said, I know a lot of people are flailing right now. A lot of you are in different stages of the dark night of the soul, as they say. A lot of you are going through, you know, is this me? Is this really me? Am I this person? Am I that person? You're having a massive, like, shake up of your identity. Good. That's because you're recognizing your higher self, your soul, is showing your ego, your human. It's like showing you who you really are and why you're here. So I feel like only one deck wanted to come in, but I'm a natural channel, as you know, and welcome. I'm the magical medium. I am Tallulah. I also have another channel called Lula's Life. Go ahead and find the breadcrumbs on my channel here. You will find links to all fun things. And with that being said, I really thought we were going to use different decks, but they're like, you know what? You're a pure channel. It's all good. I'm not even going to line them up. They may have me line them up for the imagery. As of right now, you know more than I do the way this goes, right? I just go with the flow. I haven't even opened the box. So, in fact, she's a bit dusty. She's a bit dusty. We haven't talked to them in a minute. But we are so close to the full moon that I felt like our goddess witch wanted to come in. And there's also a representation of a wolf dog and companion familiar, but we also have an owl. And right before this started, Octopus's Garden came on from the Beatles. So I also feel, and I have been inundated with octopus stuff lately, and so I even subscribed to a channel of this guy who raises baby octopi, and it was just fascinating. So anyway, research if any of those spirit animals like leaped out to you. And maybe they're going to have me put them as emojis. I don't know. I just realized that. They may have me do that. Again, you know more than I do at this point. Isn't that fun? I always find that so fun. Fun for me anyway, right? But I hope it's fun for you too. I hope you enjoy it here. I hope the vibration is high, because even though we are close to this very heavy full moon in Pisces, it's also a partial lunar eclipse. We are at the end of summer, the end of winter, depending on which hemisphere you're in, and we're going into fall in the northern hemisphere and spring in the southern hemisphere. So just lots of changes afoot, especially for those of us who celebrate Samhain and Day of the Dead and all of that good stuff. We have that coming up soon. And I realized this year more than any year, I felt like the dragons really pushed me to it as well, to just recognize not just how much the animals on the planet like influence us in so many ways, and how we're seeing that that's a big commonality between us, right? That we're like, no, don't hurt my animal, right? Like, no matter who you vote for, what you believe in, whatever, doesn't fucking matter, right? It's like, it's who you are. It's who you are at your core. And if you love an animal, you love another living thing so much, there's commonality there. And I feel like they're trying to use that to illuminate and show us, just like this bright star at the edge of the unicorn's tip of their horn, right? They're showing us the illumination, the light that's in all of us, which is love. And that is what we're going to see over the next whatever, I don't even know time length or whatever, because that's not what this is about. I'm also feeling like for some of you, this particular like selenite wanted to come in. So I'm almost feeling like for some of you, it's like there's something going on with your healing or your crystals or something. Like this whole area almost felt like it was struggling. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was setting it up, because I was going outside, look at this, because in real time, right, it's full on autumn. And the apple trees outside my house are gathering these gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. And it just reminded me just how much we change every year. I mean, we're meant to change, right? And look at how tattered this leaf is. But we're meant to change. We're meant to change. It's part of it. Nature is showing us all the time. Nature shows us. Gaia shows us. But hidden underneath is always love. And we're here to learn how to change through love and to give love. Because the more you give, the more you receive. The more you hold on to, the less you get. It's just true. When you need to refrain, when you need to pull back, when you're like, no, I need my fire for me. Like I need my own light right now. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, little fairies flying in front of me. That is okay. That's okay. But hoarding yourself away, hoarding your light away, isn't helping anybody. And I'm hearing for some of you, it's material things too. Right? Like, as beautiful and precious as these leaves are, right? Look at one side is like kind of, not boring, but definitely muted, more muted, right? But they're like, these will also wither away and fade away until they will just turn into mulch. And I feel like for some of you, like I've been having this like really lower back pain. I mean, some of it is, you know, my own thing, the way I lay, the way I fall asleep or whatever. But I did so much stretching this morning before I started this. And it's like every time I start to feel good, I would start to this and I would just feel this tremendous pressure like on my spine, on this side especially, so on the left side. So I don't know who that's for, but I feel like you're just pushing yourself and your limits and your boundaries like too far. You're spreading yourself too thin. And I keep seeing the number 1717, and it really is 88. And you know, when I make the little shorts that you guys see, the little compilations, always look for the numbers too, and the time and the percentage on my phone. Like there's reasons for that. There's signs. They're angel numbers. If you found yourself here, you're a prolific healer. Like you have something to say. You have something to give. You have something to do. Maybe you just came here for a confirmation of why you're here. Because, you know, sometimes you're in the waiting room. And you could be in the waiting room for years. But in the interim, you still have to live your life and do the things you love. And, you know. And yes, depending on where you are, you know, depending on which path you took to get to where you are, it may be a little more challenging for you to get out. But you did that to yourself. You gave that to yourself. You gave yourself that challenge, right? Because we don't want to hear that kind of stuff, but it's true. Like, you gave yourself that challenge. So, stand up for that challenge. Face it. Face it. All right, you guys. So why I'm here. I will see you over at your reading. All the timestamps are below. I put them in the description box and in the comments. Sometimes I forget to put them in the comments, so, you know, look in the description box. But the timestamps will be there provided for you, and I will see you over there. I love you so much. And also, one last thing, take it easy, take it slow. I've been hearing that so much from Spirit. Take it easy, take it slow. Slow and steady in the flow. Take it easy, take it slow. Slow and steady in the flow. Especially when we're ending really big seasons. You know, all the seasons are big, but they all have a purpose. But when we're in that transformational period, like right now, like we're going from one season to another, it's a big transformation. And when we're getting to the end of the calendar year, no matter where you live on the planet, most of us that are in, you know, these connections like this are on a Gregorian calendar, or at least aware of it. So, you know, not that everybody celebrates that, but a lot of the planet does. And because of that, we are, you know, in the 9th month of the year, which is, you know, it's like when you think of the moon cycles. We're getting towards the rest and restore, but we're not quite there yet, right? Because fall, we are reaping the harvest, and spring, we're planting the seeds. But either way, we're always planting seeds and reaping the harvest, because some people actually, or some things, you have to plant the seed in fall for it to come out in spring, right? And vice versa. So we're in a lot of you have been planting the seeds, but you know, you're not there yet, right? It's like, I love that analogy where they talk about when you put seeds in the ground, you don't go out the next day and expect a tree to be there, right? Right? Like, it takes a long time to grow. Now, some of you might be in a chia seed kind of thing where it grows really quickly. And some of you might be in an acorn where it's going to take some years for it to grow. It depends on where you are at your level of consciousness and where you are on your path. But if you found yourself here, most likely you're pretty close. You know, some people wake up overnight. Some people are on a journey for years, and some people always kind of feel it and then are like, yep, I'm on board, and bam, they got their gifts and they're like, I'm on board. I've always felt this. This feels good, you know. Also, I'm hearing stop comparing yourself to others. Exactly. Everybody's going at their own pace. We all have a place. We all are different pieces on the chessboard, right? You cannot move this piece without moving this piece. You cannot get to this piece or checkmate until, you know, you can't get to the where you need to be if you're, you know, not looking at the whole picture. And some of you don't want to see the details, and Spirit's like, you need to see the details. So that's why you're here for this reading, to find out why you're here. I'll see you over at your reading. I love you so much. Take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Bye. Welcome, reading one. Welcome, reading one. Interesting that it was 12:58, which is 12, you know, and it was semicolon, right? And then 58. So 12 is 3 and 58 is 13. And when you add that together, it's 8. Very interesting. And then it's going into the 13th minute for reading 1. So let's find out why you are here. It's the first time I'm cracking the box open for this reading, so I'm very excited to see what comes out. There's something in the book, and whenever there are cards in the book, I take that to be very serious. So I'm going to set that to the side, because Spirit has a reason for everything. It could be for this reading right now. It could be from a past reading. It could be for shorts they want me to do that. You know, there's always a reason and a purpose. So I am going to connect to this part of the deck first before we go there, and say to Spirit, for reading 1, we welcome reading 1. The portal is open. We are ready to channel. We are ready to hear messages. We are ready to connect with any family, friends, spirits that have crossed over. Okay. All right, that's it for right now. Okay, so we have interesting. So, oh my gosh, I love that they have like it's like this right now, and I can see your other cards. I won't look at it, but I know the bottom one. So this is how they want this to go. So your first card is intention. Why I'm here. Okay, so it says, be clear and decisive. Focus on what you really want. Be bold with your requests to the universe. And you may want to take a screenshot of that. Here, I'm going to get in there so you guys can see. You know, I don't have fancy software, so I'm going to try and, there we go. Look at those wings, fuck. You know, I saw something recently that said, if you don't have a lot of subscribers or whatever, if you're not getting into algorithms, they said it's because if you swear in your videos, you're less likely to go into the algorithms. I don't know if that's true, but I was like, I swear like a sailor. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I know readers that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But some of them, they just, if you subscribe naturally, then there's nothing they can do about it. But they're not going to throw you into an algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really, really, really interesting. I don't know if that's true. Again, somebody, if you know the truth, please tell me. But I feel like this wants to go here, but I feel like this wants to go here. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. And I feel like the fairy bell wants to come in and kind of shake up some energy for you guys. What is going on? Why don't you want to? Because that's your biggest thing. They're like, it's almost as if you're here to find out. You're like, I don't know why I'm here, and they're like, you do know why you're here. They're like, you just have to set the intention to do it. Or for some of you, you would have to give up or sacrifice something else. Ooh, now I'm getting a pain in my back shoulder right here. That's interesting. They're saying you would have to give up. Ooh, it feels like where your wings would be. Yes, you would have to give up your identity. You would have to come out and show yourself as an angel, and that scares the fuck out of you. You know, recently I asked somebody who I really love and trust and believe in and all this kind of stuff. I told them that I had this massive breakthrough, and I was like, I know it for sure. Like, I'm like, I know with every like fiber of my being, I'm like, I'm an angel. I'm like, I know that. I'm like, I feel like I've always said I thought so or whatever. I'm like, but I know it now. And it was the way they like responded to me. It was so interesting. And then I said, you don't believe I'm an angel, do you? And they're like, no. And they said it in such a way that I was like, okay. Well, I don't need you to believe in me. I don't, for me to believe in myself. It was very shocking to me. I said, but I will say this. I'm like, just because you don't believe in your own magic, just because you don't believe in who you are, doesn't mean that it's not real or true for me. And when I was growing up, anything I would say or do or whatever, or something like, if I'd say it through tears or like passion, they would look at me and say, oh, I believe you believe it, but all like, woo, 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 you're crazy. You know what I mean? They're like, I believe you believe it. And I'm like, it's because it's real. And they're like, okay. They're like, it's not real. I'm like, okay. So I feel like for some of you, that is what's happening. Whenever they ask me to share my stories, because it's not easy, you know? It's not easy to share my stories. It's not even about the intimacy. It's not even about the ego or the personal. It's just, it's mine, you know, it's like, it's my struggle. It's what I'm going through. And what I've been realizing is that it's not though. It's a struggle we're all going through. And I want you to realize that you really aren't alone. And it's not just a fucking hashtag I use. You know what I mean? Like, you're not alone. Like, I understand. I really, truly do. I walked through the fire first. I get it. I'm not the only one. But there are definitely less of us on the planet who walk through the fire first. And that's okay. Like, that's my job, right? That's why I'm here. And everything else is like, okay, that will happen when it's time. You know, I mean, look at Susan Boyle. I believe that's her name. Who was on Britain's Got Talent so many moons ago and blew everybody's minds. I actually heard that song this morning, and I feel like that was why I was meant to talk about this. If you're not familiar with her, I'm pretty sure she won Britain's Got Talent. And I don't remember, it was in the early stages. I don't know if it was the first season or whatever, but anyway, but she was, you know, she changed everything because she was somebody who was in her older years and, you know, was told she was past her prime and that singing was a young person's game and that nobody wanted to hear her and nobody cared or whatever. Well, talk to her now. She's done albums and it's been a difficult road for her. I'm not going to say it was easy, but that's what she chose too, right? So age is just a number. And some of you, I feel like you're like, I'm too old to be this. I almost feel like some of you, I'm feeling the age of 78 or 80. And I don't know how you found my channel or what happened, but you are so welcome here. And just so you know, when I was, really stepping into my gifts, I worked at a place called Psychic Sister, and it was a brick and mortar, and people would actually come in to have readings. And I was so nervous because I had only read for my friends and family or people that they knew, and so on and so on. I was word of mouth, basically. But to like be in a place where somebody like makes an appointment and sits down with me, a perfect stranger, it was very intimidating. Long story short, the very first person that sat with me was an 80-year-old retired farmer. A man who looked like he literally just got off the farm. Baseball cap. And I was not using this. I was just channeling. I was just a medium. And I say just meaning like I didn't have props like that. I brought crystals, I brought stones, but I didn't have oracle cards, tarot cards, nothing like that. It was in fact, I was so arrogant, I used to call them card flippers. I'd say I'm not a fucking card flipper. I'm like, I'm a true medium. I was so arrogant. Until I found, that people really like the visuals and found, YouTube and found picker readings and all that kind of stuff. And it took me years to like really work with them and understand them and, even tarot. And how complex these divination forms are. When I asked him why he chose me, he said that my name was in his family and that he goes, I don't know how to explain it. I just knew that you were the one. And I said, what made you come here today? And he said, I just feel like there's something else. It was so beautiful and mind-blowing, and then spirit gave me exactly what I needed in that moment. Out of nowhere, when we started to talk, his guides and my guides came in, and it was one of the most beautiful sessions of my life. And I remember that the first question spirit asked him was, what did you want to be when you were 8 years old? And I watched this 80-year-old man morph into an 8-year-old boy, and it was the most beautiful, most lovely thing I've ever seen. And that's when I realized what my mission was to heal the healers, yes, but also to open and illuminate the path to the inner child, because the inner child holds the secrets to who we are. It doesn't surprise me that the unicorns wanted to come in. As a child of the 70s and the 80s, my whole life was unicorns, Pegasus, anything that was completely different and out of the norm, anything that was filled with magic, anything that was filled with magic. So, again, be clear and decisive. I don't have my glasses. Focus on what you really want. So what does your inner child want? And on this full moon in Pisces, and whenever you watch this, you can always call on this energy to make your wish. But I want you, first of all, I'm going to leave a little breadcrumb right here. Recently, I saw a Zoltar machine, and those of you who know, I used to laugh and say, I'm not a fucking Zoltar machine, but I found the Zoltar machine recently, and I have so much fun stuff I'm going to be sharing with you guys from that. But literally, I'm telling you right now, there's something really special and really magical about this full moon in Pisces, this partial lunar eclipse, because it's also starting eclipse season, right? So go into the shadows, search, do that soul retrieval, search for your inner child. Maybe go somewhere that reminds you of your childhood. Maybe you're somebody who, loves to go thrifting. Go thrifting. Look for something that would remind you of your childhood. Maybe it's jewelry. Maybe you want to make something. It's interesting because my Isis necklace that was made by the ancient Star Queen wanted to come in. So, it could be anything. Like, what did you love to do when you were 8 years old? And if you don't remember, go in through meditation practice. There are a lot of people that I know If Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link below to one of Crystal of the Psychic Soul. Oh, she's one of my favorites. She does lunar meditations. She does healing meditations. We connected a very long time ago when we were both in the early stages. Now she's like really blown up, which is so beautiful. That's her path, and I'm so excited for her. She works with her sister and other people, I believe. But I love her meditations. But she may have one for the inner child. I'm not sure. But whatever, if Spirit leads me to any other things, always look for those little breadcrumbs in the description box. They're not always there, but sometimes they're there. Okay, so meditate on it, on your intention, being clear and decisive about it, and focusing on what you really want. Be bold with your request to the universe. There is no dream. Oh, look at how the light just dimmed. Oh, because Ra's trying to show you, you're in this like shadow, right? You're like, no, I'm not worth it. And they're like, no, let that light shine bright. When you're in the shadow of the eclipse season, right, which is going to go on until the first week of October, but as we all know, there's always the shadow of that. So until November, really, there's going to be a lot going on. A lot of things are going to be uncovered. Okay, so just take a breather, take it easy, but stay in the light of the fantasy. Fantasize about it, right? Like I just heard, like fantasize about a female president. Bring it into fruition, right? Like we need her. They're going to tear her down. They're going to destroy her because the divine feminine is ready to take over, and the divine masculine is like, no, I won't. I mean, look at who they. No offense, I'm sorry if whatever you believe in, but. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh to be mean, but it's like, but I'm just saying, like, talk about inner child. We're watching the inner child of the divine masculine crumble right in front of us through a known figure. You know, this known figure. I love when the British say that, but they say it in a much cooler way, right? In the world. I most recently spoke of this where a reader who I really love their readings, always spot on, respect their beautiful love light energy immensely, said something so irresponsible, it made me so upset. And I was like, I don't know where you're getting your information. I'm like, but that is not true. I was like, oh my gosh, they were like revering him as if he were like this self-made billionaire, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, you cannot be a self-made billionaire, even if your father was. I'm like, you are not. You were not. When you were born into the world, money was never an issue. You cannot compare that to somebody who money was an issue. It's a different mindset. It's a different thinking. So it could be for some of you that you're stuck in this mindset of, you know, this old patriarchal world where they're like, don't dream too big, right? Don't dream too big. And this full moon in Pisces is like, dream as big as the sky. It's also a super moon, right? So dream as big as the sky. I didn't even recognize this until now that the colors go so beautifully. Totally different artists. But they want you to dream as big as the sky on this big moon, on this full supermoon in Pisces. And like I said, whenever you watch this, it's okay. You're going to harness that energy, right? Like that's part of what you're meant to do, is harness that energy. So dream big, beautiful, beautiful souls. Dream big. Okay, so your next card is... do that there. I want to make sure that doesn't fall. Oh, interesting. Oh my gosh, you guys. I didn't see this card. I swear on all that is holy. But look at how it's upside down. See how it's a shadow of itself? Now when I turn it right side up, look it. It was abundance. Did I not just say that? So it's a lack mentality that you have to get out of. Vision board. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to make a vision board of what you want your life to be. Maybe on the full moon, that's what you do. Envision what you want your life to be, and it will come. But you have to believe. You have to believe in magic and miracles. You have to believe. If you don't believe it, it won't happen. I always found it so ironic that one of my family members gifted me this plaque that said, those who don't believe in the magic will never find it. And yet they were the one that was like the saddest, most dark, depressed. And I was like, what is happening? And it felt like the more I tried to love them, or like, you know, be real with them and be like, well, you gotta blah blah blah, you gotta change that, or this blah blah, it was just like, oh my gosh, I was like, I was enemy number one. And I realized, you know what, I'm a big fucking mirror, and if you found yourself here, you most likely are too. We are all mirrors for each other, but some of us are a little bit bigger. Some of us shine a little bit brighter, and those who are not shining are like, you know what I mean? It sucks. I still love them. I send them love all the time. But that shadow that overtakes us, that fear, it's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of change. And some people, I mean, you know, it's interesting because this same person, I remember one time we were talking about something that we loved, and I was like, oh, I loved it too, but then I tried it with this and I tried it with that, and I'm like, it was like a whole other level. I'm like, and they're like, no, that's the way it is, that's what, and I'm like, no, it's only because that's the way you've known it to be, but you can have that in a much better, much healthier version for you. And they're like, nope. And I was like, oof. So when those doors are closed, when those minds are closed, when that vision is closed, there's no room for imagination. So if there's no room for imagination, then how can the abundance get in? And of course, I mean, look at, they could have just white wings, but they have rainbow wings with a rainbow above them. And it says abundance. Enjoy the bounty of life. Your supply is unlimited. Blessings are coming to you. Yes, they are. Let's put it this way. These things are going to happen for you one way or the other, but Spirit's like, wouldn't you rather have it happen sooner rather than later? You can have it right now. The year the dragon is here for a reason. This is the year to like walk into and step into, ooh, did you hear that? Into our gifts. Also, I'm hearing, I smudged at the beginning, but you're the first one so far, so I don't know if they're going to do this with everybody, but I just got this vibe. This is Palo Santo. I just got this vibe from Spirit that some of you are really, really, really struggling. And it's because of your energy field. It's time for you to smudge, release, let go of, let burn away the old feelings, the old memories. Look at that. Look at that funnel. Look at how black it is. That's old black magic, right? That's the old black magic coming in. This is Spirit burning away your darkness. All you have to say is, I accept this cleansing. Accept this cleansing. Also, I feel like you guys are the owl. Because at the beginning of this, I felt this power of the owl. So we're going to cleanse this space for you. We release and let go of all that which no longer serves your greatest and highest good. Take a minute, and if you're in a place where you can't close your eyes, pull over. It's worth the stop for you. Pull over to a place that's safe. If you're walking, you're driving, close your eyes. Take in a few deep breaths. Call upon the wisdom of the owl energy. I'm also hearing cat energy. Some of you, I feel like you lost your familiars. It could be a cat, it could be any animal, but I definitely felt a cat. And I'm starting to get choked up, like literally, like my throat feels like it's being choked, and I feel like they're saying, we literally died so that you could be free. So that you no longer use me as an excuse. You don't need me. And when the time comes, you will call in another familiar. But for now, for some of you, it's time for you to wander alone. For some of you, it's time for you to change your surroundings, your community, your job. For some of you, it's a breakup. It's a separation. I'm feeling, before this started, I felt and saw a lot of things for Divine Feminine. Girls just want to have fun, you know. And I feel like for some of you, it's almost like you're being choked by a masculine energy. So it could be a woman, it could be a man, whatever they identify with. But they just have a really strong masculine energy, and I feel like they are just like, oh, like just like pushing you fucking down. Like, you know when you're playing, you're being playful with somebody in the pool or the water somewhere, right? And you're like pushing each other down. I never understood that, because it's like, oh, let's dunk each other. I mean, but whatever. But I feel like, did you ever have somebody who takes it too far and they push you down and you're like, come on, like I can't fucking breathe. And they're like, ha 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 ha, I'm going to hold you down. Sorry, I know that was abrasive, but I feel like that's this energy. I feel like there's an energy around you. And this may be for just one, but I feel like there's at least 12 people in this reading, so I have no idea who watches what, but I feel like the number 12 came up, and I felt like I saw like 12 different people, where you're surrounded by an energy that is literally fucking holding you under the water like that. And you're like, how come I don't have money? How come things aren't growing? What's happening? I'm setting my intentions. I'm doing the work. Like, Lula, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm fucking doing this. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's almost like there's like this wall of light that's like calling to you, but you're still looking down into the darkness, into the shadow. And I'm hearing like excuses, you know? Let me tell you something. I was raised by a family that was very abusive. I would watch my mom lie as people would ask her like how she got bruises or whatever. And she kept like defending my father until she got to a point where she stopped defending him. You know, when the police started getting involved and whatever, and then they eventually broke up, right? But you're going to find your abundance when you're looking forward. Do you see this? And I feel like, you know, I don't know how this is going to come out, right? Because I'm never sure, like, with the camera, like, if this is going to be first or, but either way, I feel like this is the progression, right? Like, it's like the Wizard of Oz. You know, when they're stuck in that really dark forest, but then when they finally find their way out, they're like, we're out of the woods, we're out of the step into the light, right? But they're like, but there's, I think they say something like, open, and I feel like this is what they're trying to show you, like, go to the light, Carol Ann, in a good way, right? Like, it's time for you to go to the light. Interesting that today they had me wear my rings this way, because here we are in the shadow, right? And then we've got two different stones here, but the turquoise represents love, right? And the dark is about protection. So I almost feel like you're protecting yourself or you're protecting somebody else, and Spirit's like, all you're doing is making it worse for you and for them, because they need to. Here's the thing, when we think we know better than our higher selves, our spirit, that's when it starts to get wonky and kind of fucked up. Because you're robbing them of their experience of healing. Ooh, this huge wind just flew through my house, right? You're robbing them of their experience of healing. And mostly because for some of us, we built up this like, oh, my parent needs me. Oh, that person needs me. Oh, but oh, look what happened to them. They need me. No. They need themselves. They need to find their strength, especially divine masculine. So if you're here and the person that you're having this issue with that you feel is holding you back, because I feel like for some of you, you're like, oh, I can't. I will say this. After each one of my parents died, I started to feel stronger. One, because I could talk to them on the other side, and the person that I always saw and felt that was inside of them was real, and that was the person that I connected with, which is so cool. But then they also showed me the lessons of why we had to go through those things. And now that my mother has passed, it's been almost a month. She died on August 18th. But what are the odds that my mom would die in the year of the dragon, in all these dragon portals and the lion portal energy and the 888 energy, and you know what I mean? It was like, no, they served their purpose. Like, they played that role. They played that avatar. And ever since then, like, they've been showing me so many things about my childhood and my family, and to help me understand, like, why, you know, because I'm like, I want to go home. Like, I want to go back and talk to my brother and sister. You know, I want to explain to them, like, why this happened. And I'm like, and then I thought to myself, why do I want to, why do I feel the need to explain? Because that's old programming. I want to be loved. I want to be accepted. It's going back into the shadow. It's me thinking that I'm going to like bring in my energy of this and think that, bring in this energy and think I'm going to change them. I might. They may over time. But that's my arrogance. Let them mourn their mother in peace. Let them talk about me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I know what happened between me and my mom and I know what happened. You know what I mean? And it's like, now that she's crossed over, I've been illuminated with so many things that I'm like, oh my gosh. So don't let the voices tell you who you are, because you're abundant. You deserve this. You deserve abundance. Look at that. It's like it doesn't, what is going on there? Okay, so our next card is, oh, and another one. Look, it's upside down. Imagination and looking down. It's like, it's almost like you've lost like your love for imagination, for art, for, it's like you just, because you want to go back to what's comfortable. The shadow makes you feel more comfortable because then nobody can see you. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I love you so much. Oh, my whole body is in chills. I love you so much. I hope you feel my love right now. I'm sending you so much love and healing energy. I called upon the healing energies of the universe before this started, and all you have to say is, I accept this healing energy. I ask them to stay with me during this. Have yourself a good cry over this full moon in Pisces. It's also, Pisces is the last, zodiac sign of the lunar, of the zodiac. It's the last sign of the zodiac. Sorry, I'm still like, my heart is with you right now. So there's a reason why it's such a heaviness, right? And such an intuitive, right? It's like, because they're wise. You went through 12 cycles. You start in the fire of Aries, and we go through cycles. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Aries, fire, Taurus, earth, Gemini, air, Cancer, water. Then we start again. Leo, fire. You know what I mean? Virgo, earth. And right now we're in Virgo energy. Right? And so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. And that's how it goes. But they're in cycles. Change. That's what we've been talking about. It's autumn in real time where I live. And these beautiful leaves were once very, very, very bright green. And became this. Because everything dies. And then is reborn in some way. And in order for your abundance to be reborn, you have to come out of the shadows, my love. You have to come out of the shadows and share your imagination with the world. What did you want to be when you were 8? What did you want to be when you were 8? What did you want to be when you were 8? So this says, envision a new reality. Give yourself permission to dream. Believe in unlimited possibilities, right? What did we say? You have to believe it to make it happen. But if you're running away from it, it's real, you guys. These aren't just little figures on pieces of paper. It's real. And it's real because we made it. We collectively made it real. You know why? Because here's your last card, and it's not in reverse. Because you're pure magic. You, my love, are pure magic. And you're meant to be here to share it with the world in whatever capacity makes you feel good, happy, joyful, not in pain and suffering and wars. I think it's funny how these politicians say, oh, they want war, they want war. It's like, you want war. Otherwise, you'd be coming at it with love and saying, no, we want love. We want to heal the planet. We've seen over thousands of years that war does no good. The Game of Thrones was for us to see. I just made the coolest shorts called the House of Dragons. I'm like, what, Spirit? And it's so good. Wait till you guys see it. I mean, I literally have like over 1,000 images that Spirit has me create these things for you guys. And then I'm constantly doing new ones too. Because I'm here to spread the magic. To leave the breadcrumbs. That's my job. I'm pure magic, just like you are. And this says, make a wish. Did we not just say to wish on the full moon? Did we not just say that? Did we not just say that? Make a wish. Believe in miracles. Magic surrounds you. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to write down every wish, every single solitary wish you've ever had. Do you still want that wish? Is it still real? Where is it? Where does your magic reside? Notice how they had me put magic here. Because magic is keeping the shadow at bay. The magic dips into the shadow when they need it, right? Let's be honest. I'm going to share a little story with you, and you may have heard this story before, and drink some water. When I was, before I really woke up, I always was powerful. I always had an energy about me. And what I used as my shield was my shadow. So people knew that most of the time I was light and fluffy and rainbows and everything was good. But if you done piss me off or hurt me or whatever, you best get out my fucking way. Okay? That is how I learned to protect myself. In my childhood, the people around me, growing up, being born in 1971. Okay? However, there were times where if I did not have that, I would have been dead. One time, I was walking through a city. I was really fucked up. I was drunk. I was stoned. It was very late. Like, bars are closing late. I don't remember exactly what time it was, but it was dark. I was walking through a very unsavory part of my neighborhood, or I should say an unsavory part of the city. I could have taken an Uber, I could have taken the bus, the train, but I decided to walk. Like John Travolta and Staying Alive, sometimes you just gotta strut, and sometimes I just wanted to walk. And so I decided to walk this one way. And as I was walking, just when I thought I was out of the heaviest part of the very dark part of the city I was walking through, I saw this individual coming towards me. They were not well. They were on drugs. I don't know what kind of drugs, but they were not well. There were alarm bells going off all around me, telling me that this person was going to harm me. I felt it from a far distance. And again, I could have pivoted. I could have walked. There was a store that was nearby that was open 24 hours. I could have walked in there, been protected. But instead, I charged towards them. I looked them straight in the eye. And I said, don't even try it. Or don't fuck with me or something like that. I was like, don't even. I'm like, don't try me or something like that. And they just looked down and kept fucking walking. And I turned around and I watched them walk as far away. And they actually started to go faster. Because I was like, not today. Not today, Satan, right? Like, I was like, no, you're not gonna, that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna attack me. You're not gonna mug me. You're not gonna do anything to me. I knew that's what it was. They weren't interested in sex and rape or anything like that. But I was like, I'm not gonna go through a tug of war with this dude with my bag right now. I'm like, I'm not gonna, this isn't gonna happen. And just so you know, I'm not even 5'3". So, yeah. You know what? Because it doesn't matter how big you are. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, look at me and my ego. It was like, when I need it, I will pull it out. But otherwise, it needs to be your intention and the words behind this card, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the shadow. It's me saying it's time for you to stop looking down and see your magic. And instead of, let's move this over here. And let's have you looking towards the light. And the shadow is behind you. Keep the intention. I'll reread it. Be clear and decisive. Focus on what you really want. Be bold with your requests to the universe. You're going to always need your shadow. You need to make peace with that. But it cannot and will not lie. Oh, I just heard lie. Lie beneath you. While you're making decisions. Because your abundance needs to be connected to your purpose. And why I'm here is going to be different for each one of you. Whatever you felt, whatever you thought, words, feelings, things that came through, you know what it is. And if you don't know, it's your job now to get quiet and still and meditate on it. And this isn't about, oh, how is this gonna, blah, blah, blah. Am I gonna be, don't, no. This is about you. Why I'm here. Do you understand me? You feel me? You hear me? No more making decisions with another person. Because it hasn't been working for you so far. It's been covering up your magic. And your abundance is right here. It's all in the wishes that you send out into the universe. I don't know, but I feel like might be one card in here. Like a bonus card or something. Are there any other cards, Spirit? No, I felt like that too. So, I don't know what this is, but I feel like this will help some of you. So before we turn over your last card, take a minute. Take a breath. Ooh. And I'm hearing there's a throat chakra again. Yes, because for some of you, you're so afraid to ask for what you want because one, I feel like you're afraid of being made fun of. Who fucking cares? What other people think of you is none of your business. That's number one. I'm getting tough love with you about it, right? That's Spirit saying, that's the dragon being like, no, this is like one of the luckiest years. Energetically, yes, there's a lot of shit that's crumbling around us. The divine masculine, it has to. Things have to get worse before they get better. We understand that. We see that. We're seeing how people are lying about these wars. People are showing us, world leaders are showing us who they are. And then we're having like other leaders that are like, oh yeah, that's great. So you know they torture and kill people. You know that they're doing this and that, but you think that they're cool? You think that's cool? It's like, like start thinking about that kind of stuff, you guys. Like, what do you want to do? Are you somebody, I feel like before we overturn this card, I feel like for some of you, I just said overturn this card, right? Like overturn Roe versus Wade. Like I feel like there's a lot of things that are going to change. Even that was so powerful, right? Because maybe we do need to implement changes and have a bunch of doctors like say, this is what happens and blah, 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 because you can't just have one law. We're starting to see you can't just have like one thing for one person. We are all different individual people. Of course, you're not going to terminate a 6-month pregnancy where the baby could, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, there are so many things. I don't know why this has even become an issue, but it is. There's a reason why this issue has come into the world. There's a reason why when women were in certain relationships and they were scared and they didn't want to be with someone, that they would go to a healer, a witch, and get a tincture so that the baby would naturally pass through them so that they wouldn't have another baby with this person. Because we're human here and we make mistakes. We're fallible. That's the whole point. So I'm hearing get out of this like old, like kind of like chaotic, archaic, like energy of a divine masculine. I feel like for some of you, it's really a divine masculine. I feel like it's their shadow that is, and they're like, no. You need to put them in your rear view mirror. And when they come for you, you face them head on with love and say, it's because I'm magic, man. I believe in magic and miracles. I'm making wishes. Right? Talking to the moon. Right? Trying to get to you. It's like your abundance is here. It's waiting for you. Break on through to the other side. But for some of you, I feel like you're here to like make a huge difference in the world. Maybe you are meant to get into like the politics or have more of like a face in front, you know? Maybe you're meant to work with children to help mold and change minds for the better, that, you know, for love, not against this archaic, like, you know, fight for, right? Like trying to douse your flame or cover your light. No. Okay, so the last card is, oh, of course. Oh my gosh, you guys. Hope. This, I'm like, I'm starting to get really emotional for you. Because we need you so bad. Because, you know, the rest of us are out here, we're fucking like, we're fighting this and we can't do it by ourselves. We need you. We need your magic. We need your hope. We need your light. Like, no offense, but fuck them. I don't like to say that. You know I don't, but like, fuck them. If they're not ready to like do it, like, that's okay. Because there's a lot of divine masculines that are. And maybe they'll come into their, you know, whatever. And again, this could be a man, woman, parent, lover, friend, boss. But I feel like somebody has like really squashed your hope. Right? But out of the shadows, look at how like out of the shadows, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for you. Let's put it this way. It's already happening for you. Like, look at how the moon wants to go this way. It's like the moon is like illuminating it because of your hope. Because somewhere deep inside, like, you know that you have something so powerful and so special to give. And Spirit's like, can you please now recognize it? See it. See yourself as this. See your magic. You notice every card, there's a reason why they're looking a certain direction, or, you know what I mean? Because it's a story, and this is your story, and you're allowed to tell your story any way you want to, because it's your story. It's yours, and yours alone. This is your movie, and this is your time. Why am I here? If you could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like a paperback novel, the kind that drugstores sell, right? When you reach the part where the heartache comes, the hero would be me. I don't know if I'm saying the words right, but I'm feeling like that kind of like Gordon Lightfoot, like, you know, it's like believe in the magic and miracles. I don't think there's any more, but do you want me to show them any more cards? Bring this card out if you want me to show them this card. Okay. No. Do we want to show them this card? Okay. So this one is at the bottom. Expansion. Look at that. Expand your mind. Open your wings. That's why I shared this story with you. People's minds are closed, you know, because the person that sent me that saying, those who believe in the magic, those who don't believe in the magic will never find it. They were like that. They were full of love and light and hope. I've seen it, but I've also seen the shadow come in so many times. And sometimes people just can't get back up again. It's easier to tear another person down who's living their dreams, who's expanding their mind, who's changing. It's so easy to tear that person down. And this says, spread your wings and soar. Share your message and shine your light and show the world what you're made of. And that, my friends, is your closing argument. Show the world what you're made of. Show the world what you're made of. And then you will be able to help others that are in the shadow. But you need time to be in the light for a while. You've been in the shadow too long, and you've been holding hope, and that's beautiful. But you're not moving, and you're stagnant because you're in a holding pattern. Some of you, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you'll know, you'll have that aha moment, you'll have that thing, you'll have that breakthrough, and you're like, holy shit. And you will, I promise you will. I promise you. If you found yourself to this place in this reading, look at you. Of course you will. Some of you already know. Some of you already have all this, and you're like, I'm ready, and now you're about to go fight for the shadow, for the love of the shadow, for the awareness that it exists in all of us. You don't think that the divine masculine running for president in the United States, you don't think that's just a damaged, hurt little boy? Of course it is. I've been talking about this a lot because just watching it, all you have to do is just watch all the things that are happening, and you can see it, read between the lines, hear between the lines, see the pain of the inner child that didn't get heard, that didn't get noticed, that was compared, right? We all have a story. We all have something to say. We've all been through something. Every one of us, even if you had the most perfect childhood, you had moments in your childhood that weren't perfect. Of course you did. Maybe somebody on the playground took your favorite notebook and threw it in a muddy puddle and started laughing and run away because they're a bully, because they're mean, because you're just this beautiful beacon of light, and you just made all these beautiful drawings and they don't know how to draw, or maybe they're afraid to draw, and look at how the sun went away, but look at how the colors came back to life. Seriously, do you see that, how the shadow? But you're still bright, you're still shining. In every image, you're still shining, you're still illuminated in some way, shape, or form. So face your shadow, love your shadow, thank your shadow. With grace and gratitude, say thank you, thank you, thank you. I am grateful. My shadow saved my life that day. Or at least saved me from harm, saved me from getting robbed. There was no one else on the street. I may have screamed and someone might have come. They may have come out of the shadow. I don't know. But I was given that as a survival skill, but not as a skill to dominate over others. Do you hear me? You feel me? Free will. Our light and our shadow. It's our free will and how we use it and how we spend it. Don't hoard your light and your love. Give it freely. Don't expect something in return. Give freely. If you're pulled to give, give. Because I promise you, it will come back. It always does. That's why karma was born. All right, you guys, those are your messages. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves and each other, okay? All of my information is on this channel, and I'll see you at the next reading. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 2. Do you hear that? Yeah, so that's your spirit animal. That's your totem to work with right now, especially over this full moon in Pisces cycle. There is so much magic happening around you. I just want to be the first to say congratulations. I am so proud of you. If you chose this reading, that means that you are doing the work. It means that you're about to end a major cycle of your life. Now, it's going to be different for all of you, but whenever I see and hear constantly toads, frogs, they give this very magical, very mystical, very abundant, good fortune energy. In fact, I'm like, I almost forgot Toad the wet sprocket is my buddy, and I always like to put like some abundance energy by them. So I put this pie right here, and we'll even put the malachite because it's green. You know, we want green energy. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, I know we have a jade in here too. Hi, you guys. Yeah, we're just going for all the goodness, right? Because we're in gratitude for all the hard work. I literally felt this energy of like 10, like completion, like you're done. Also, I'm also going to have a little bit of a back disclaimer for some of you. This isn't going to be for everybody, but for some of you, it's going to happen whether you want it to happen or not. Because yes, we have free will. But for some of us who have, you know, come from outer realms to do certain work, we have certain clauses in our contracts, so to speak, of like an override, right? Like if we want to like bolt or get out, there's kind of an override switch where something will happen where you will be forced to leave the situation that isn't healthy for you. And it'll be painful and it'll sting at first, but you will look back on it later and go, oh, I'm so glad. Because sometimes it's so easy to move from one situation to another, and sometimes we need a kick in the pants. We need a kick in the pants. Sometimes we need to have somebody else take the lead. You know, I've been in situations where I was like, yeah, I keep trying to, end it, or I'm like, this isn't working or whatever. And then it's like, we're working, and we're working through something else, whatever. And then just when I start to feel good and I'm like, oh, they're blah, 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 then like someone will be like, yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much. And I'm like, oh, okay. And you're like, okay. And you may feel a little bit used, but you know what you realize? They were there for you too. We're all using each other. I remember I saw that in a movie once. Staying Alive. That came up in the last movie. Maybe I'm supposed to tell people to watch it, but it's a good metaphor for what's going on in life right now. It's an old movie with John Travolta and Finola Hughes, and why can't I think of her name right now? I love her. She's a great actress, totally underrated, great singer. It'll come to me. She was in Dirty Dancing as well. She's the dancer, the blonde dancer who gets knocked up by Robbie. I say knocked up because that's how they talk about it in the movie. But anyway, I digress. I can't think of her name right now, but I love her. She's a very gifted person, right? But she's like tired of being jolted, right? Like throughout the thing, she's just like, I'm tired. And then it's like she has to finally like get him completely away from her, and so that she can like take care of herself and heal herself. And I feel like for some of you, it's like you're so beautiful and you're so wide-eyed, right? Like you see the world as this illuminated, beautiful, making wishes on the moon, right? When you wish upon a star, like you're seeing all the, like this is going to turn into a handsome prince, right? Like you believe in fairy tales, but at the same time, it's like if you're not allowing the fairy tale to come true, then it's not going to come true. You know what I mean? So, also, this was so far was the only reading that the shell wanted to come in. So, it's interesting because I want you to really see it right now. I mean, there's so much scrying in here, it's crazy, but I mean, it's so otherworldly. All you have to do is go to the ocean and look at shells and just see, it's like there's so much magic everywhere. I love this one. So Spirit wants me to show you something, okay? So I'm going to take the candle out of here for a minute. And they want you to see, this is how I feel like you guys are feeling. That's why I know I'm like, yay! It's like you feel beat to shit. You feel tired, right? Because you've been holding space for everybody. You're like, I'm love, I'm light, I'm love, I'm light, right? But underneath it, when you let go of that, when the new beginning comes, you're going to start to see your true colors underneath, right? It's not going to be that, see how that is? Let's see what it looks like when it gets wet. Oops. Now look at that. Now that is a horse of a different color, isn't it? Right? And this is really interesting because this looks like a person with their hand up, and this kind of looks like a moon. It almost mimics her in a way. Do you see that? Literally, you can scry on this forever, but do you see that? It almost looks like somebody's like got their back up, like they're painting too. I feel like somebody's painting, so maybe this is a message from Spirit and from your higher self to start painting again, to be artistic. If you're drawn to reading one, you might want to go check that out. But yeah, yours was the only one that this wanted to come in. So I find that really powerful. Ooh, even that kind of looks like a being or something. We'll have it. Ooh, I was like, no. I'm like, I guess if it wants to go that way, I should just let it go that way. Is that the way it was going? Oh yeah. What? It almost feels like. Also, this feels like the back of a lobster. So it could be, it could mean a lot of things. It could be this. Maybe you look like this. Maybe some of you look like this. Maybe we all look like this. Right? We're just an organism, but we created these avatars. I don't know. That was kind of interesting when that just came through. I'm like, what? Also, this side. I can't stop looking at this side. You guys see that? That's some powerful shit. Look at that head on. I have so many shells. I live by the water. One of these days I'm going to actually do something with them, or they're just there for me to admire and enjoy. So if you found yourself here, you're asking, why I'm here? Why am I here? Like, why am I here? Speaking of, drink some water, stay hydrated. So just right away, this one is like sticking out to me, but I'm going to keep it to the side because I haven't shuffled yet. So that was from the last reading, but it could be something for a bonus card for you. So Spirit, what messages, or I should say for reading 2, their question to you is, why am I here? Why am I here? Let's just knock out all that old energy. My eyes are closed. Why don't, if you can, take some deep breaths and close your eyes so we can connect with your... There's a lot of unsettled energy I'm feeling from you guys. All right, let's just take in some deep breaths. I'm feeling the antsiness of like, so Spirit's saying, yes, you're at 10, but you're not quite at 1. Does that make sense? So they're saying, just take a breather, it's almost like you're like, okay, cool, so what's the next step? And they're like, okay, take a breather. So I'm getting a really strong vibe that you guys need to take a breather. Like, you know, in real time, it's September 15th, so I'm hearing Self-Care September. So whenever you watch this, at least for the next 2 weeks, from now until the end of September, if you're watching it in real time, if not, from now until the next 2 weeks, take it easy, take it slow, take those vacation days, do what you need to do. Okay, this is the first one and it's like stuck to my hand. Okay. Because I feel like whether northern, southern hemisphere, whether you're coming out of summer or winter, it was a doozy. It was a doozy. Between the Lionsgate portal and just like this year in general so far, it's just like we hit the races, like we hit the ground running in January, and it's basically been this way. Especially a lot, I'm feeling the divine masculine energy is saying, especially since 2020, when all of, you know, the with the masks and like the, you know, all of those things where we weren't meant to talk to each other, we were separated from one another, we had to really like hunker down with the people we loved, or we had to hunker down alone, or you know what I mean. It's like that time, that energy was put on the planet for a reason. And now some people are they're trying to go back to the person they were, but they're realizing that it's not just about, oh, I want to work from home. They're like, I don't know if I even want to do this job anymore, or I don't, like, you know, looking at your partner going, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like looking at your family going, I don't agree with you. I don't believe that. I don't, you know. So I feel like some of you are waking up, like either you're just waking up to this, or you're like really waking up to, you're like, I don't fucking want to wake up here in this energy field another day. There's got to be something else. I was watching, you know, so many people are nomads now, and people are living out of their cars, their trucks, whatever. And this woman was showing how you could live out of, if you had to in an emergency situation, how you could live out of a storage truck, a U-Haul. And it was very interesting watching like what was happening. They had dogs, you know, whatever. But it made me realize, like, I think that some people need to find a way to gain their independence. And if that's what they need to do, like one person was like, she thinks it's a luxury that she's camping inside there. I'm like, it is though, because you start to realize that it's a luxury to have a roof over your head. It's a luxury to eat healthy. It's a luxury, you know, and it's all in the way you look at it. Some people may want to live in a tent outside. That's a luxury. Some people, a luxury to them is, you know, one person can spend $20 on food and get X, Y, and Z, and another person can spend $20 on food and get completely different things. And they will satiate and sustain each individual to what they need if they are aligned with, you know what I mean? And there'll be happiness there. So many people, we've been taught to chase happiness instead of standing still and getting quiet and recognizing that we are happiness. It's not something that's outside of us that we're trying to attain. It's a mental energy. It's a mental thought. It's permeating your cells with, how blessed am I? I have a roof over my head. How blessed am I? I have this. How blessed am I? We can all see the beauty and the ugliness in everything. It's all in the way you look at it. So I don't know what this card is, but I'm going to turn it over. And oh, look at this. It was in reverse. Or at least when they had me pull it over, it was. So, why I'm here? You're here to set the balance straight. But how can you do that if you're not balanced yourself? It's all in the way you look at things. Interesting, this has such a fall energy, right? Because in real time, in the northern hemisphere, it's fall. Also, do you notice the butterflies? So I would work with butterfly spirit too. And that tells me too, right there, right? Like you're at completion, like you're out of the cocoon. You're ready to go. You're ready to fly. You're not quite off the ground, right? Like you're a unipeg. And unipegs are really rare. I was going to say really real. They are. But they're also really rare. You've seen unicorns, you've seen Pegasus, but a unipeg is both. You've got both magics, both defense systems. And this says balance. Take time to relax. See? You need to do this. You need to, this is, I'm not saying see like with my ego. I feel like Spirit saying, do you understand? This is a pattern. I feel like maybe you're seeing signs or like things to slow down, or you're getting this. Also, my throat chakra is getting really tight. I got this in the first reading as well. So if you were drawn to reading 1, you might want to go check that out. Because even though it's like you may be the butterfly, but you have to keep flapping your wings, or else you're just going to be on the ground or just be on the branch. But if you want to move to the next place, you have to flap your wings to get there. And the butterfly effect is very real, right? Because every time you flap the wind, it's like the wind is like rippling off into wind somewhere else. It's energy. Wind is energy. You are energy. Why you're here is that you're here to show people that we're pure energy. But in order for like our dreams to come true and for all the beautiful things to illuminate that we want, we must have balance. And to have the balance, we have to rest. We were taught to chase instead of allow. So the next line is indulge a little more or less. Are you indulging too much? Are you not indulging enough? And the last line is set boundaries with your work. I'll admit it. I'm a workaholic. If Spirit allowed it, if I felt like it was meant to be, I would do readings every day. But I know that my avatar on this planet is super sensitive. I know wherever I come from, I'm super sensitive, and I've worked hard at it, and I've built very strong, powerful, structures to help and allow my avatar to participate. But because of what I give and what I receive and the way that I work with the universe and helping to hold the light and study through the dark myself as a human myself here, right? Like I understand that I cannot do that at this time. This is what I'm meant to do at this time. I've been fighting with spirits. I'm like, but I feel fine. And then like a few hours later, I'm like, wow, I'm so tired. Thanks, Spirit. Like they looked out for me because they know. Because we are going through a massive transformation on the planet right now. I wanted to do the readings either on Moon Day, tomorrow the 16th, in real time it's Sunday the 15th, or on the full moon on the 17th. I was like, yeah. Because I used to do these things before. But now they're like, no. I mean, as the moments have been fluttering by, getting closer to this full moon, I am all over the map. And so today was the perfect day. In fact, I didn't even realize it until right now. I'm going to count. So So let's see. So 9 is September 15th and 2024. So I'm going to add them together. So 9 for September plus 15. So 9 and 1 is 10 plus 5 is 15. And then 15 plus 8 is 23, which also comes out to the number 5, which is about change and transformation. And that makes so much sense if I'm adding it right. If not, that's what I'm supposed to say. Right? But no, for real. Like this is the real shit right here. Like this is what you need to hear from Spirit right now. You are super sensitive. We are super sensitive. Some light workers, just because they're working and you see them and they look really great, doesn't mean that they're not, like, when they're not on camera, not having a fucking shitstorm, you know, breakdown. I'm gonna, you know, cry for 2 hours. They're human here too. We all have different paths. We all have different things that are going on. Don't compare yourself to other people. Slow down. You know, it's, when you think about it, it's kind of weird that school would start. To me, it would make more sense to really go with the seasons. And I wouldn't have the children start until October. Because 1, it's a super fun month. 2, we've already been going into fall, you know, a good solid, you know, 10 days, right? Like, or however many days. I would have it be the first week in October where they would start school. So that they start school and they ease into it, and then they have a fun where they have a party and they get to decorate, you know? They get to dress up as their favorite characters and, you know, and make it fun. You know, like have the kids get out of school at the end of spring. You know, it's like, it just feel, I don't know, I just feel like if it flowed more, I don't know where that came from, by the way, so maybe this is for somebody that, like, you're like, I've been thinking about that too, maybe we should advocate for that. But you know what I mean, but flowing with the systems of the energy, right? Because we have time of planting and rebirth in both spring and fall. However, as the energy goes, fall goes into winter, and we are going into a more dormant state. And that's very difficult for kids to learn, you know? And it's like, it makes more sense to me that it would be like you go to school like 3 or 4 days a week. There's not enough play either, you know? People are just like, pawn your kids off, go to school. I mean, I'm not saying this. Don't think I'm a dick, okay? Because I don't have children. I'm saying from experience, watching what my friends have gone through and just like the fucking hoops they have to jump through in September during such a massive transformational time from summer to fall. It's a very intense pass off of energy. And then to like pile that on to the teachers, the parents, the students, it's a lot of pressure. You know? Anyway, we can go on and on about why this season would be better or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like for you guys, I'm just getting this vibe that you're really in tune with the energy of the planet. So that's why they had me do this reading now on Sunday. Because, look at that. Or you're not. Or you're not. Or you're not. That's the issue. You're not in tune, right? You're out of balance. But that's why they had me do the reading today. Because as it gets closer to this full moon, I most likely, number 1, will feel exhausted. So I'm holding space for all of you, right? As it is, it's been going 1 hour and 23 minutes, but I also prepared for this. I did meditations this morning, getting ready for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole process that I go through with Spirit before, you know, you see these, just your portion or just these, you know what I mean? It's an ongoing thing. So that's when Spirit is like, listen. Listen to the sound here in my heart. A beating that something starts and I can't control. Right, from Beyonce. They actually just had me make a shorts for that. It's one of my favorite songs from Dreamgirls. If you've never seen that movie, oh my gosh, watch Dreamgirls. It's so good. Staying Alive, Dreamgirls. Interesting, Rebel Wilson has a new musical coming out called The Dead. Like, yeah, because musicals make us happy. You know, music makes us happy. Why do you think they wanted to take music out of schools? I really feel like for, you know, if you were pulled to reading one, I spoke about this. I feel like there's a lot of advocates that are going to be coming out, a lot of things that are going to change. Like, I feel like it's time, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe you guys are, maybe your goal is to bring the balance back to the earth, but how can you do that if you're not in balance? And so Beyonce's singing, listen to the song here in my heart. Oh, this was in reading one as well. Yes, the magic that you are. I can change the lyrics, right? For you, and it says magic, make a wish, believe in miracles, magic surrounds you. And look at the fairies. They didn't even draw my attention to the fairies in the first one, but you know, like bringing things back to life, bringing out your magic. I mean, look at how Froggy wanted to come in too. Like, I'm feeling a lot of witch energy too. I almost feel as if like maybe for some of you, your teachers, or like you're getting frustrated because you have to go with a certain system, or you want to teach children, or maybe you just want to be a teacher in general. So definitely I have my chills all over my body. I feel like for reading too, oh, I feel like, you know, you're a teacher. You're a teacher of some kind. It could be art, it could be science. I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like you are here to bring the balance back in, or maybe just like living by example. You're being a teacher for others. Does that make sense? By just living in your truth and living in your magic, living in your fairy, like what feels good. I was drawn to, there's a beautiful channel called The Unexpected Gypsy. If Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link below. But they're so magical. I love them so much. And there are people like that all over the world, you know, and different formats. But she is totally a fairy witch. She calls herself the Unexpected Gypsy, but she's also like, there's so much fairy energy around her and a lot of divine feminine. But it's like, you know, she's so beautiful, but she also has this kind of like old granny crone energy about her that's super magical too. If you know who I'm talking about, feel free to comment below. But anyway, but she's great. And I'm feeling like maybe that's for some of you. You know, maybe start your own channel. There are so many channels out there that, okay, let's just be honest, they're unnecessary. They're unnecessary. I'm like, nobody cares. And I know that sounds mean, but like, I don't, if that's the case, like I'd be having a camera 24/7 in my life, right? Like if I thought that you guys gave a shit about like when I shit, or you know what I mean? Like who cares? Who cares? Or like, I love kids and stuff, but I see these channels where the parents let them have a channel. They allow them to have a channel. Number one, they're way too fucking young. And it doesn't feel like there's any adult supervision there. I almost feel like the parents like, oh, sure, you want your own channel here. Oh, cool, that'll keep them busy. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh, yeah, online predators, you know. But also, there's just these channels where I'm just like, it's so bizarre. Where it's just like, even the kid is like, you can tell the kid doesn't know what they're doing, and it's just weird, where I'm just like, what is happening? And I feel like that they want me to tell you that just to let you know that like what you have to, not that what they're doing isn't, obviously they're providing this information for me to share with you, but what I'm saying is that, are they going to change the world with their content? Maybe, I don't know. But for myself, I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, right? But I feel like you, on the other hand, you have something to say. You have something to give. Oh, look at that. It looks like a heart. Do you see this right here? You have a lot of love to give, and you're hiding it away. Stop hiding your love away, sweetheart. Please stop hiding your love away. Whoa, look at that. Oh, no, don't. Because you're scared. They know. They know you're scared. But you know what? The only way to work through it is to face it and not be afraid of your magic. Because if you weren't meant to bring it here, if you were meant to only live in fear, it's almost like your magic doesn't want to be shown. But if you, that's how you get your balance back. Let's just put it that. For who my throat chakra feels like somebody's trying to kill me. Oh my God. You hear that? I just heard an ambulance, a siren. This is a sign. No time to lose, no time to lose, no time to lose. You know that song? That's what I'm hearing in my head right now. Timing is everything. They don't want to watch you suffer and go through these cycles anymore. Your higher self, you know, like I'm telling you, something's going to shake you out of this. Some of you may never find it in this life. And some of you, it's going to shake you out of it. Something's going to shake you out of it because you're like, I didn't come here to play small. I came here to win. I came here to play big. This is who you are. This is your magician. Run towards the light, Carol Ann. That keeps coming up too. And I'm not saying that in a, you know, like that I want you to die. I'm just saying, like, you know, in that instance, they're like, yes, but also they were saying it's because the darkness was like wanting to steal her light. So they're like, come towards the light, Carol Ann. Because she was just this beautiful white light of energy. And the little girl suffered, like that whole movie, and when they were making it, like they were conjuring things, not realizing that there were real witches there, real medicine people there. Like, that's why a lot of shit happens when they make these movies, wherever two or more gather. If you've never seen I don't know if it's a documentary, but the making of, not The Cult, oh gosh, it'll come to me. The witch movie. It'll come to me. But anyway, whenever you're doing that, it's like you're creating energy, you're creating power. So the world has been a stage for years. And now it's our turn to face the shadow and face the dark magic and say, you know what? Not on my watch. I'm here to set the balance. And see, now the balance is going towards the magic. We're trying to balance it out, right? They're going this way. They're going this way. And look at, there's like, but if you look at it that, I mean, this is actually more in light, right? Because this, the background, see the shadow? And I feel like that's where you are. Ooh, that's interesting. That just hit my hand in like a weird way. I feel like for some of you, I heard carpal tunnel, or I'm hearing like you're having a problem with your hands. There are a lot of things you can do. I made a tincture for my partner because he works with his hands and he works outside when it's cold, and sometimes. And so I found, Spirit led me to pull all of these different essential oils together, but pink pepper oil, just like a drop of pink pepper oil and like a nice like thing of oil, it actually brings heat and it brings circulation back into your hands. So I'm hearing there's a lot of ways that you can actually heal that and work with that. I'm working on tinctures myself right now and putting things together. I make so many tinctures for other people because a lot of times I'm here, so I can just kind of pull things together. But if you're interested, let me know, and I can tell you like what to put together. I'm not sure yet if Spirit is going to have me make tinctures. I've been thinking about it. If I'm drawn to, I will. But I don't believe I can sell it without getting like something, because it's, you know, but as long as you don't eat it. I don't know. There's got to be some rules. Anybody know? Let me know. But I could make you a tincture, so let me know. Or I could just tell you what it is and you can make it yourself, and that way you would always have it to make yourself. Okay, do we have any more messages? Do we have any more messages for like, because I really felt the teacher thing, Spirit, but I'm also feeling like, is there another field or another, you know, I feel like there's one person that's like, oh, they're like, why am I here? Oh, receive. Spirit's trying to help you, but you won't receive. You know, there's giving mode and then there's receiving mode. And if you're giving too much, then you're not open to receiving. You see that? Okay, so, and also I feel like the crimson means something. So the red, I would say for some of you who've been thinking about coloring your hair, go red. For some of you who've been thinking about like changing your outfits or your look, I'm hearing get more red. Red is a great color for passion, but also for protection. So it says receive. Be open to receiving goodness. Believe you are worthy of abundance. A gift is coming to you soon. Okay, so this is working on you and your self-esteem right now. We're still in self-care September and self-care summer. It's not quite fall yet. Fall's next week. It's a week from today, actually, the fall equinox. So right now we're in the last week of summer, the last week of winter for our Southern Hemisphere family. We are in the shadow of the eclipse season. We are in the almost to the full moon, because it's afternoon where I live, afternoon on the 16th. I don't remember when it's at its peak on the 17th. Right? We're also in this energy of like this earth energy of Virgo, but Pisces, it's the full moon in Pisces, which is water energy. So flow and also I'm feeling like sometimes they have me do this, so I'm going to close my eyes and Sometimes they have like a certain order that they want. I'm going over here so I don't drop them. The other one's on accident. Sometimes they want me to put them in a certain order for you to tell a story. Okay. So, all right. So magic is in the center. What they want you to remember is your magic. Oh, shit. Ooh, there is a shadow around you that does not want to heal. It could be you. It could be people around you. And that's why you're feeling off balance and off kilter. And that's why you're having a hard time receiving, because you're the fucking giver all the time. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to keep going towards this full moon Pisces energy. It's time to set your wishes out into the universe and say, this is what I want. This is my greatest wish. I don't care if it sounds outlandish. I don't care if it's something you saw in a movie but you want to happen for you. This is a time to set your wishes off to the stars. No fear. No fear. Look at this, is what's on the bottom, beloved. This is spirit. This is spirit overlooking, like they got you. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop and they're like, it's not going to happen. It's only going to happen if you stay in the shadow. But you got to face that shadow when it comes at you, with magic and with love. Also, the apple is all about abundance. Research apple, and it's also about love. That's why it was the apple, Eve took the apple, right? It could have been any fucking fruit. It was the apple for a reason. So Spirit is saying, beloved, know your worth. Why am I here? To be a loving light being and to be an example to others. Through my passion, through my love. What brings you joy is what brought you here. Don't compare yourself to other people. You may have outlived a dream. What's a new dream? What's an old dream? Spirit asked, reading 1, what did you want to be when you were 8 years old? I'll do the same. What did you want to be when you were 8 years old? This card says, beloved, prepare for your life partner. Romance is returning to your relationship. Believe you are lovable. So those are 3 separate things. Those are 3 separate things. I almost feel like there's 3 separate readings within this reading. So if it doesn't apply to you, don't make it your story. So prepare for your life partner. Some of you are. Some of you are about to meet the person that you're going to walk through this life with. Some of you have been alone for a really long time. Some of you have been in other relationships. And someone's going to cross your path that's going to change you forever. Forever. Romance is returning to your relationship. Some of you, you just took a little break. Right? Especially if both of you are in light, like you are light workers and you've been working through your shadow energy. I mean, hello, we're in eclipse season. I wanted so badly. I had made plans, my partner and I made plans to have this super fun night tonight and go see Beetlejuice at the drive-in. We were so excited. And I messaged them on Friday and I'm like, dude, it's getting more intense, the energy. I don't feel like I'm supposed to go anywhere. I'm like, I thought I can handle it. Like, I was really bummed. I was so bummed. I was like, like I wanted that date, but we're not there right now. We're not going to show up as the people that we want to be because we're both going through some major stuff. And when you're going through major stuff and the shadow is upon you, even if you're fighting, to stay in a light, whatever, if you're a sensitive, especially the empaths, right, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that heavy-weighted energy of that Pisces moon, of the eclipse energy, of the super moon. You're going to feel it. That's why they had me bring this particular imagery in. It's a super moon. It's a very intense energy. That's why they had me do this a few days before. Who knows? I may be a shit show that day. I have no idea, But I just got this vibe like they need to be where they need to be and I need to be where I need to be. And I'm sad because I'm like, oh my gosh, I will probably never have that opportunity again. But I was like, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. It was meant to be. It's just a movie. I'll get over it. You know what I mean? Or someday I will, have a big projector in my house. You know what I mean? And watch it on the big screen. Big deal. Maybe we're meant to go and see it in a theater somewhere some other time. It's just sometimes things just don't align with what we want them to be. That doesn't mean we don't love each other. It just means that we're not aligning right now. So for some of you, the romance is going to return back to your relationship, but after this dark period ends. And if they are a light worker, as you are, that's not going to be until October. Like, we're all not going to start feeling like ourselves really until about the third week in October, the end of October, okay? Because we have the new moon eclipse on October 2nd, I believe. And that is another intense energy, right? This one is with the moon and that one is with the sun. But during that, they call it eclipse season. It's there, the shadow is there for a reason. It's there to teach us, it's there to push us and prod us, but also to illuminate what we really want and what we no longer will tolerate. And the last one is, believe you are lovable. Because no matter what the turnout is, you may have to walk this road alone, at least for a while. That doesn't mean you don't have us, you don't have your community here. We're always going to be here for you. But that means that it's time for you to go on your walkabout. It's time for you to go on your journey on your own. Interesting that when the journey starts, they're with the unicorn, right? It's like the fairy, the human, whatever you see this character as, right? And then the unicorn. Then you see the unicorn by itself. Then you see the unicorn grows wings. It's a unipeg. And now, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is you. It's almost like going from, like, you know, maiden to mother to crone. And for some of you, it could be that, you know, you may not even be in your crone, but like you were brought here to be this person. And it doesn't matter. You may be ageless. You may look like this on the outside, but you feel like this on the inside, right? Like we talked about this. I was watching something recently with a child star, and I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to pigeonhole them, but they were talking about how they've lived lifetimes in their lifetime, and they're like, people see me and they think, oh, I'm in my 30s, I don't know anything, they're like, but I've literally grown up on television. Like, I've literally grown up in the public eye. I've literally, like, I had to grow up faster. I wasn't allowed to do certain things or play or be, you know, this person. I had to go through all of those stages. So, you know, for some of you, it's not, you know, for me, I'm 52, so I'm post-menopause, right? So, like, I am in my crone era. But, and some of you may be as well. But I feel like it's not even that. It's just like the elevation, the graduation of where you are. And some of you have had to, you know, walk this path alone. But you're never alone, are you? Right? Because the moon reminds us. The sun illuminates the moon and shows us that we're not alone. The stars in the sky show us that we're not alone. Those little flecks. I feel like the Lemurian crystal wanted to come in. I don't know if all of you are Lemurian, but you're not alone. You're never, ever alone, unless you choose to be. Isn't that funny? There are times where I'm like, I'd like to be alone. And Spirit leaves me alone. And there are times where I call them in. But don't let something dull your sparkle, right? Like, this looks dark when it's just like this, but when you put it in the light, you see it has more sparkle, right? You see how much it sparkles when it's in the light. But when it's in the dark, you don't see it as much. You don't see the sparkle as much. Okay, do we have any more messages for reading two? Nope. Those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way. And all of my information is on this channel. I feel like there's one more message. Oh, and they're saying that it's okay when you, we're getting a few more messages from Toad the Wet Sprocket. It's okay when you're having a bad day to be in it and cry and whatever. They're saying just please do your best to pull yourself out of it. If you know, like, something makes you laugh, if you know something makes you happy, you know, like, sometimes I want to watch a dark thriller, and then sometimes I like yesterday, I literally just binge watched and let it roll over. I'm like, Spirit, just bring me any movies you want me to watch. And they were like all these beautiful lovely stories, Hallmark Christmas movies, and they were all so good. And I'd never seen any of them. It was just like and they all had such good meaning, and you know what I mean? And it was great. So, you know, if you keep looking at the news, you keep looking at the shadow, that's all you're going to see. So they're saying, you know, if you look for it, you're going to find it. But if you don't, you won't. Okay. Okay, they said 1, 2, 3, stop. Okay. 1, 2, 3, stop. They did. Anything stuck to me? Nope. Here you go, brother. All right. So the first one I saw was an E. These are sometimes hard. I need to get like my tweezers out when I do this. So we have an E. Ooh, and then I went to a little piece of lavender. So lavender would be good for the calming and the slowing down. Then my eyes went to this, and it says certified good guys, and it has like a little arrow. And the certified good guys, and the arrow, I feel like it's going up, like, yeah, like your family, like your certified good guys are the angels that are up above you. My eyes went to this one first. Okay. Oh no, it did, but then it dropped. So recipes. So it could be some of you, maybe you want to work with food, a food cart, truck, a pop-up, something like that. I'm hearing you want to like share your grandma's recipes or share like recipes from somebody. It just flipped over, and I heard that's fine. Don't give away the ingredients. Don't give away the ingredients. If somebody says, I have allergies, you can say, what are your allergies? And then you can say, you know, but I kind of feel like I'm feeling like the cards, I'm seeing somebody with like their cards like held tight to their chest. Have you ever heard that saying? So I'm hearing, just be mindful, like you'll know what to do. You'll know what to do. Or maybe you could say contains nuts or contains blah, blah, blah. You can say what's in it, but like not how much. And only hire people that you trust to not steal your recipes, because I do feel like for some of you, either this has happened to you or it's a fear of yours, and because it's a fear, like you're going to put it into, you know, action. So I'm hearing just keep your cards close to your chest. Maybe it's something that you don't like you have somebody help you, but they do the food prep, but like you make certain things and like you bring it in, you know, something like that. But also, why would you want anyone to work for you that you don't trust? You'll know. If you don't trust them, just if you feel like they may steal your recipes, don't have them work for you. Okay, I'm gonna have to put my glasses on. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, this is like the smallest letters ever. Hold on. Oh, interesting, trans. So they had me cut this from like, oh, anyway, it said trans. So it could be that some of you are going through that, and like maybe you're concerned about like putting yourself out there, but you brought yourself into this world, into that body, that mind, that heart, that soul, whatever you align with. Like that's who you are. Don't allow anyone to tell you who you are. Like I almost feel like, here's an example. I kind of feel like some of you are male identified, but you on the outside, but like you want to have like, let's just say a food cart called like Mama's Pies or something, and people are like, you're not Mama, and you're like, I am Mama. You know what I mean? Like everybody calls me Mama. Like be who you are, whatever that is. So I don't know if that aligns with anybody or if that also reimagined. Damn it, it's like they're like flying out of my hands. Reimagined. Oh, because they wanted me to put them up here. That's why they keep flying out. Let me find your trans one. Okay. And there's literally no other saying that's coming through for the trans, so I know that that's definitely for one person. And also Spirit saying you don't have to tell anybody who you are. Does that make sense? Like you don't have to tell anybody who you are or what you feel you identify with or whatever. It's none of their fucking business. Okay. Ooh, uncovered. So something is gonna, like, I feel like for some of you, it's not uncovered yet because you're not ready. When you're ready, have you ever heard the old saying, when the, I don't know if I'm saying this right. It's something like something about the master, the teacher appears or something, or when you put something out into the universe, it will show up. So as long as you keep your intention and your focus on whatever this thing is that you see yourself as, more. You need to do more. Is there anything else? And more will be uncovered too, I'm getting from Spirit. Like more will be revealed to you as you are revealing yourself to the world. Also reimagined, right? Because again, people want to put themselves in a box and say, oh, you know, oh, you can be this, but you can't be that. You can, oh, you're this now. Why can't you just decide what you are, who you are? You know what I mean? And it's like, why do I have to have a label? Because it makes the other people that don't know who they are uncomfortable, because they'd rather be like, and the whole point is that what's happening on the earth right now is that we're pulling apart from other energies and other sources so we can be our true selves. And Spirit is saying, you are ready to be your true self. And you don't have to explain it. There is an individual at my local grocery store. I love them. They, every time I see them, they look different. But most recently, I was talking to them and I was like, this is so interesting, because they had, it was, I would say male identified, right? So they had a beard and long hair. They had a full face of makeup. And they were wearing a dress, and they were wearing jewelry, but they were full, like a very, like, lots of hair individual, and they are just them. They don't always look like that either, by the way. They change all the time. But the other day, I was like, I thought to myself, we have come further than we realize, because they have a right to do that in America. Like, they have a right to be that, whatever that is to them. You know what I mean? Like, whatever they identify with is their fucking business. And what we think of them is none of their business. But that day, they wanted to wear a full face of makeup and come in a dress and you know, and it was interesting too, because what I thought was interesting, the most interesting for me, was that what set it aside was the dress that they were wearing was so open and exposed that they wouldn't be able to wear that out in public without a bra if they were a woman. And I thought that was fascinating. I don't know if you see what I'm saying, but I was just like, that's so, you know, when I see that, that's the hope that I see. That's the beautiful, like, that is the balance. That's someone saying that's what they feel like. They're a magical creature. They could be anything they want to be, because that's what they looked like. But they were born a man, quote unquote, right? It was fascinating to me. And I was like, it's a beautiful world if you open your eyes and you see it. We just want to make sure that they're safe to be that. And that's what I feel like for some of you, you're here to be an advocate to make sure that somebody is safe to do that. Because that's somebody's child. And I had a friend whose little boy was obsessed with wearing tutus. Obsessed. Went through a phase they thought was a phase. It was not a phase. And they still dress in all different ways. All the time. And we need that. We need the Adam Lamberts. Like, we need that. Just as we need the women identified, you know, that want to wear a full suit and men's shoes. There's no such thing. We're starting to realize that these are just other, like, false gods or false limitations that we've put on ourselves. It's what we're feeding into. We're feeding into basically people's levels of comfortableness. I'm not comfortable with myself, and you're too comfortable with yourself, and that makes me uncomfortable. So we have to make a law that says that you can't be comfortable. Think about that for a second. I feel like if you found yourself here, we are aligning as powerful advocates of love and leaders of freedom and love and what that really means. An earth democracy. It's sickening to me that women can be mutilated in other countries, that you can steal their pleasure palace. What the fucking fuck? No. We are starting to say, you know what? No, we come from the stars. We are the reimagined earth. Right? Certified good guys. We're the certified good guys. We are the certified good guys. You're part of the certified good guys. And E, oh my gosh, I just realized E could be Earth, but it could be for you too. It could be somebody in your family. It could be a W too if you turned it upside down, or an M, because I feel like, okay. And the recipes thing, I'm really getting that. Also, I feel like for some of you, maybe you're sharing your recipes online and somebody's like stealing. I almost feel like, yeah, I can't, you guys, I don't know who this is for, but just be really mindful. If you've been feeling like someone's stealing from you, they are. So whether it's recipes or something else, I feel like there is somebody who is stealing, and not just your thunder. Like they're, and I feel like they're like, I don't want to say wolf in sheep's clothing, because wolves are beautiful creatures and they're just being themselves. But this is somebody who, you know, our natural state is not, let's be a stealing asshole. You know what I mean? That's not our natural state. That's not our natural state. Survival, maybe, you know, but not a natural state. So I can't say this enough. Hold your cards close to your chest. Don't give away too much. Give away what feels good. I should say give away what you don't care about what happens. You know what I mean? But if there's something that, you know, you feel like, no, I'm meant to like write this book or make this painting or whatever, and like that's like how you're gonna make money, or like, you know what I mean? Like don't give your formula to someone else. Don't put it out there for someone, you know, especially if it's a family recipe or something that nobody's ever heard of. Or they've heard of it, but like they try yours and it's because, you know, your great grandma put nutmeg in it, and it's like people are like, nutmeg, that's genius, why did I never think of that? You know what I mean? But that's what'll set you apart. Also, nutmeg can be very toxic, so be mindful how much you use of it. But it's it's very good for energy, to boost your energy. So like nutmeg oil or something like that, if you want to put it in a very, very small amount in like a diffuser or something like that with other things. All right, you guys, those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way. I love you so much. Spirit loves you. And until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. And I'm excited to see what you're going to do and what you're going to bring to the earth, because we need you. We need you. We need you. Thank you for helping bring the balance back. Thank you for helping bring the magic back. We love you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye. Welcome, reading 3. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I felt this really like almost there energy. You're almost there. But it's interesting because the more I wanted to like fill this void, this space over here, or like move things over here, the more I wanted to like move and change things, the more I just felt like this kind of frozen energy. Like I don't want to change. I don't want to move. I don't want it to change. I don't want to, and because it is, I feel like let's do it. Let's do it, because it's time to get out of the fear bubble. The fear bubble is not working for you. Like, first of all, you have nothing to fear. You're such a powerful being. If you weren't meant to be here, you wouldn't be here. But this kind of off kilter, this off balance, that's of your own making. Why I'm here, I feel like you're just muddying the waters. Does that make sense? Let's get some cards. Let's hear what the Unicorn Oracle has to say. Spirit, reading 3 is asking why I'm here. Why am I here? Why I'm here? Why I'm here? Why I'm here? Reading 3. Let's go into the reading 3 energies. Why I'm here. Do you have more messages for us? It's interesting. The fear that's coming off is it doesn't feel like yours. Does that make sense? It feels like it belongs to somebody else. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Let's see what we have to. Sometimes they do this because I believe this is the last reading of the day, and sometimes they do this because they're pulling for shorts. So it's not necessarily for you guys, but we'll see. Okay. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to live in hope. Why are you here? To be a beacon of light, of hope. To be the beacon of light, of hope. And I know you're not feeling that, right? Like, because I feel like I want to go in this direction, but this, it's kind of dry. It's beautiful and cool and has a lot of cool things going on, but it's very dry and brittle. And I feel like that's you guys. If you were drawn to reading too, you may want to go check it out. Because I feel like it's a mixed bag. And why the imbalance is, I'm starting to get that too, is I feel like some of you absolutely have hope. You're still in the shadow, in the muck, wherever you're living, your job or people, whatever. Like, you're biding your time because you know that it's just not time yet. But you know when it's time, you're going to bolt. You know it. You're going to know it. You've been feeling it. It's going to happen this year. It's going to happen before December, by the way. For those of you who are still in this kind of like abyss over here, you're watching people like this. So you're still holding on to hope. The fact that out of all those cards, this is the first one that wanted to come out. This came out in one of our other readings as well. And this tells me that even when you want to give up, even when you're ready to just throw in the towel, you do look for hope. Maybe it's from something as, simple as a crystal. And you go in your room and you play with them, and when they sparkle, they make you smile knowing that something like this exists somewhere in the world. And thank you for that, because it's been your beacon of light. It's been your beacon of hope that has kept you, right? The apophyllite that's kept you connected to the stars, to spirit, to your higher self, because you know deep down there's something more, there's something greater, there's something bigger. You know that there's too many of us that believe in hope and believe in love to let the darkness and the shadow squash it. So, let me see. Oh, they want me to read it. Sorry. So on the bottom it says, stay positive. Hold on, let me get my glasses on, my little grannies. So Hope says, stay positive. The worst is behind you. Look up to the light. How did I miss that? I'm so sorry, my friends. I don't know if I read that in the other one. Sometimes when I get into the channeling, I don't remember if I read things or not, because Spirit will do it if I don't. So you're there. You're at 9. The past is behind you. How you're going to get to the end of it, how you're going to move forward, is by believing that you will. The hope has got you this far. Now you just have to believe it, because it says stay positive. The worst is behind you. Look up to the light. Even if this is your mantra, maybe take a screenshot of this and put it in your phone. I'm gonna do shorts with this no matter what, because we need this right now. But they want you to know that they're not blowing sunshine up your ass. Like, I feel like you're somebody who has been through so much, and you're like, I'm always taking the high road, or I'm always looking to the light. I'm fucking tired, man. Like, you're just like, I can't do it anymore. They're like, you can. We're going to straighten you out. They're like, we're going to get you going. We're going to put you back to where you need to be, and all will be well. Everything will balance itself out, right? Like, it's going to balance itself out. The crystals, the light, like all the beautiful stuff it's already here. The thing is that I feel like for some of you, you're not seeing it. Like, you don't want to see it. Because that means you have to make some massive changes. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. You're preaching to the choir here. Those of you who've been with me a long time, I never ever ask you to do anything I haven't done first. And I hold the light too, as long as I can, until it's unhealthy for me. And when it's unhealthy for me, I have to move away from it. I have realized in the last few months just how fucking unhealthy I was. Not just towards myself, but my partner, other people, because I'd gotten into this like defense protecting mode. And now I'm like, you know what? When I have breakthroughs, like, I tell people, I'm like, I'm so sorry that I said that, or I did that, or, if I made you feel less than, if I made you feel this way or that way, I'm like, that wasn't my intention. I thought I was helping you. A lot of times that's what happens. We think we're helping, but if we overhelp or overshare, especially if you're sharing other people's stuff, a lot of times I would always say to my partner, is it okay if I talk about this topic, or is it okay if I share this, with the tribe? I ask him, because I don't want him to ever feel like, you know, I'm just throwing him under the bus. I did a video the other day and Spirit wants me to upload it, which means they want me to post it, which I'm like a little nervous about. I'm not going to lie, because I don't know how they're going to respond to it. But it's what I was going through, and I need to talk about what I'm going through when I'm going through it. And if we don't like the way we're showing up for people, myself included, right? If we don't like how we're showing up for people, then we need to have that mirror reflect back to us and find out why. Where is the pain and the suffering? Where is it coming from? How are we using it, or are we abusing it? How are we bringing love into the situation? I almost feel like your question is, where am I? Because I feel like for some of you, you're like, I feel so lost. And they're like, yes, because I promise you, after this eclipse season, things are going to be so different. Things are going to be illuminated for you. I promise you. I promise you. By the end of this calendar year, 2024, mark my words, there's going to be something that is going to be so profound on the planet that's going to, we'll have no other choice but to see the light and to see the good and to see the love, because that's what we all really want. The wounded child becomes the wounded healer, and then the wounded healer becomes the wounded teacher. And only through pushing through those wounds and pushing through that pain and seeing the ugly sides of ourselves, facing our shadow, facing our darkness, only then can we like really say, okay, I am light and I am shadow. I am teacher. I am student. So I feel like for you, it's, where am I? You're in hope. You're at the end. You're almost there. Don't fucking give up. Don't quit on me. You hear me? Don't quit on me. I need you. We all need you. Don't quit. Be this. This is who you are inside. Okay? So in real time, today is Sunday, September 15th. We're halfway through September, and I've been pushing the self-care summer and then self-care September. We're also, a week from today is the fall, spring equinox, depending on your hemisphere. We're in the last week of summer for northern, last week of winter for southern, and we are in a major transformational phase. Usually full moons are like, you know, right where I like, when you wish upon a star, we're making our wishes and all that, and that's great. But also this particular one, because it's an eclipse, because it is a supermoon, because it's in Pisces, it is going to be so powerful. Whenever you watch this, you will understand. But a lot is about to be illuminated, and you're going to understand it. I promise you. Oh my gosh, look at this. Friendship. You know, because of the way it looks, I can't help but feel fire signs. So that would be Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. So you could be dealing with a fire sign, or it could be heavy in their chart, sun, moon, ascending. Let me put my grannies back on for a second. So friendship. Seek out your soul family. Surround yourself with positive people. Spend more time socializing. So this is really wonderful, right? Because, yeah, don't you want to be around people who have hope? Because if I put this card here, it would be going away from the hope, right? Like it's like, I feel like for some of you, like you're just like over here hiding. You're like incognito, you're hiding in the shadows. And it could be you. This could be you. Or it could even be that that's what's coming towards you. You're the one that's hope, and people are going to see that, and you're going to attract that energy, right? Your vibe is your tribe. Have you ever heard that? Your tribe is your vibe is your tribe. Because if you're aligning with people who are feeling the same way you are, then you want to be there. You want to be around them. But if you're around people, if your friends or your family or people that you call your friends, if they are not, if they are in shadow, or maybe they think they love you, but they're like I have my one friend that would say, it's even hard for me to say because it upsets me still to this day. But they'd be like, I love you so much. You're such a freak. I knew they loved me and the way that they could love, but I knew that they didn't love me fully. They really meant that. They really did think I was a freak. But because we had known each other for so long, you know, it's like I started to see these relationships with my family, my friends, my work experiences, no matter where. But I would see these relationships with people that were so odd that it took me years to like really understand, because I'm like, why did I hang out with them, or why was I around them, or why was I friends with them that long? I mean, I can go on and on and on for all the reasons why, you know, things happened the way that they happened, but I started to understand that a lot of people kept me around because it made them feel better about themselves. Because I could be the freak. I could be the, you know, if you've ever seen Brady Bunch, there was an episode where they found a picture and they thought it was Jan. They're like, oh, is this Jan? They're like, oh no, that's, she goes, and then I think it was Carol was like, oh no, that's my Aunt Jenny. And they're like, wow, she really looks like her. And Jan already felt like the freak, the outcast. She was the middle child. She always felt like everybody forgot about her, right? Like the whole thing was Marsha, 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 my perfect older sister, blah, 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 always being compared. Or Cindy was like so cute or whatever, but, you know, Jan felt plain. She felt like her name was plain, you know, whatever. And then she meets, or she says, oh, that's crazy Aunt Jenny. And she's like, why do they call her crazy? And they're like, because she's different. And the whole episode is that the crazy Aunt Jenny comes to visit, and Jan is like not wanting to be like her because she sees the way people talk about her when she's not around, you know, and that she's different from everybody else, and that makes Jan feel really, really bad about herself. And then come to find out in the end, that's what she loves, is that she's different, and she is like, she wants to be like Aunt Jenny. Well, when I was growing up, I was the youngest, and my siblings called me crazy Aunt Jenny because I wasn't like them, and if I did things that were different and the kids didn't understand, you know, it's like it became, oh, that's just, you know, that's Aunt Kelly, that's just crazy Aunt Kelly. Now I look back on it and I'm like, I'm awesome. I was a cool aunt. At least I tried to be myself all the time, but it wasn't really allowed. I wasn't allowed to be myself. I had to pull myself away from my family. And I've had to pull myself away from friends, family, so many. I mean, I'm alone most of the time. My bone's cracking. Not because I want to be. I have community. I have so many beautiful sisters that I can call at any time, you know, and if I really, really needed them. And I feel really blessed about that. But I started to become more comfortable with my own company. And now I've been feeling more like I need more community, you know, like people, like in person. And the area that I live in, it's interesting because it's almost like where I grew up. It's like part of where I live, the people are like I was talking about the checkout. Was that this reading or the reading before? Where I was talking about the person that worked in, I mean, and this is all over where I live. You know, people dress very differently and I love it, you know, and then there are some people who are super conservative where I live. And I see that all the time, but I realize I'm like, no, these are my people. My people are up here. And it, you know, you need to be around the people that make you feel good about yourself. Whether it's an online community, whether it's an in-person community, whatever works for you. It's different for everybody. But I feel like for some of you, that's why you're almost there, because, you know, maybe you need that. You know, maybe you need those friendships. You know, because I almost feel like these are both looking one way. But I feel like these are your fiery friends who are, you know, so I got the moonstone right here. Right? Your friends who understand, people who understand, like, oh, that's a rock. No, it's not a rock. It's a moonstone, man. Right? Like, oh, what are you doing? What is your channel? Like, I tell people, I'm like, oh, I'm the magical medium. I've been having a lot of situations recently where a lot of religious people have been coming into my orbit. Oh, I'm a Christian, but then when they get to know what I am, or I tell them what I do, it's like they're nice, but, you know, there's still that, like, fear of, like, you know, So there's clearly still some type of fear bubble that you're in, and Spirit's trying to pull you out of it. And the only way to do that is to surround yourself with people who are like you. Oh, look at that. Cycles and the butterfly. Yeah, you're done. Like, you're ready to be out there in the world, but you still have, like, you're in this last bit, this last cycle. Let's see what this says. So it says, everything has its right time. I was just going to say divine timing. Honor the cycles of your body. Tune into the moon's magic. If you really want to align yourself spiritually, go and get yourself a moon calendar or follow a moon app or something like that and work with it. There are so many teachers out there. For those of you who've been with me a long time, you know I used to do moon readings on here, which is interesting that I brought up the moonstone. So clearly some of you, like, maybe this is your last step, because that felt like that for me. When I was doing the moon readings, it really aligned me to the cycles of the earth and to understand, like, oh, okay, this is where we're at, right? Because the full moon is all about celebration and, you know, and wishes and all the good stuff, but it's also a very intense energy to get us to face things that, like, maybe we're having a hard time dealing with facing, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's something with that, and especially because they're having me do this reading for you right now, right before we're about to have this very big super moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, right? Pisces is one of the most intuitive, a lot of people argue, the most intuitive sign of the zodiac. It's also the last sign of the zodiac. It's almost like you're at the last, right? Like, it's like you're almost there, you're almost there, you're almost there, but you're not quite there, but you're almost there. You're almost there. And interesting that they had the cycles going towards the moon, right? Because they had me move the cards over here. Keep that hope. Keep looking for those good friends. Keep looking, you know. There used to be these commercials when I was a kid. I think it was Bartles and James, and it was like, they would show them, like, toasting, and they're like, here's to good friends, tonight is kind of special, right? So I'm feeling like that too. Like, maybe you need those people in your life that, you know, or start a group. You know, maybe start a lunar group or start a channel that's doing the moon cycles or talking about the moon, and you're like, okay, here it is. This is my brand new channel. I'm new to this, and we'll learn together. And then, you know, you hashtag, you know, whatever, and lunar cycles and moon, and you know what I mean? And you'll find your people, trust me. And you'll find people who help educate you too, and then you'll learn from them, and you know what I mean? It's all a process. But I definitely feel like for some of you, there's like I feel like that's your last, like, shell of the egg that, like, has to come off. Does that make any sense? Do we have any more? I feel like there's at least one more. Do we have any more, Spirit, or is that it? Is there any more from this pile? Oh, okay. Haha. Oh, there we go. Oh, prosperity. Your prosperity lies in being who you are. That just came straight out my mouth. Your prosperity lies in being who you are. So, prosperity, a gift of money is on its way. Your income is increasing, and manage your finances with love. Yeah, I almost feel like I saw somebody going to buy something out of almost like revenge, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense to anybody here? Do you know what I'm saying? Please comment below, because I feel like maybe somebody pisses you off or something happens and you're like, I'm going to go reward myself and go buy this purse. And you don't have the money, but you put $200 on your fucking credit card because you're like, I really want this purse and I'm going to buy it. They're like, and then you wonder why your abundance is slipping through your fingers. You may want to go watch Reading One. I think it was Reading One that had this. It was either one or two if you were drawn to the one or the other. Right? It's at the bottom of the deck though. We did use this and you see me shuffle. So it's saying, enjoy the bounty of life. Your supply is unlimited and blessings are coming to you. So, you know, it's here. You just got to be a little more patient. And I know how much that sucks. I am with you in that. But if you've been doing the work, keep doing the work. They see what you're doing, right? This is the year of the dragon. This is the year that if you put in the work there, and I just made a message from the dragons that says, like, the year's not over yet. Like, I'm not, you know, like, he's like, we haven't sung yet. Like, right? Like the fat lady hasn't sung. Like, we haven't sung yet. Like, they say that about from the opera, because the most talented operesses, I don't know, operess, I don't forget what they call the female version. Drink some water. Also, I feel like somebody's getting sick. Spirit's saying clean up your diet. Clean up your diet. Eat healthy foods. Stop eating so much processed foods. It's okay to eat some. It's okay to eat, go out to eat once a week or something. Not expecting you to do everything, but I'm hearing you need to really clean up your diet. I just heard that. And they can't reiterate enough that it's okay to be crazy Aunt Jenny. It's okay to be crazy Aunt Jenny. They love you for that. Like, there are people who will love you for that. They will revere you for that. We need that, because we're showing the world. Every person that's coming out, so to speak, and showing who they really are is showing everybody else that's been hiding for all these millennium that it's okay. We've been afraid to come out because we've been persecuted, we've been hung, we've been, and not just healers, but anybody who's like going against the grain or wants to be different. If you think in the Puritan days, if a man wanted to wear a dress and makeup, they'd fucking kill him. And there are known, like, that's where the emperor in his new clothes, like, there's a lot of old stories about things like that. That like kings were like cross-dressers and like all these things, but like nobody ever really knew what was going on, because they said if anybody knew what was really going on behind closed doors, like, you know what I mean? Because we are all weird. We are all different, and weird is a good word, right? It just means that you're different. We're all interesting. We all have something to say. We all have something to bring to the table. Every single one of us. And look at how the prosperity is going towards the friendship. They had me put it there. So it's also for the hope. I feel like prosperity is flanked with this full moon and setting your intentions of like putting your dreams, write down all your dreams and your hopes and your wishes. They've said this with every reading. I'm going to say it again. What did you want to be when you were 8 years old? There's something in there. It's at that last point where like the innocence starts to really fade. When we start to want to blend in and be with everybody, they're like, oh, you should be like this person. No. So we've got cycles and the moon. Prosperity, friendship, and hope. It's like you are flanked with goodness. Look at, you've got two. Spirit is like, we have got your back 24/7, all the time, every day. We have got your back. There is literally nothing for you to fear. The only thing that you are fearing right now is your ability to shine and outshine possibly other people or other things. Look at that. The candle just went out. These burn for 6 hours, you guys. I just lit this a little bit before this started. Do you understand? Don't allow others to douse your fame. Oh my gosh. I have to show this to you just because I took this screenshot today. So this is where this reading kind of originated from. So, I mean, hello. And then, let me get it. I gotta find it, because I know I did things this morning. Is it any wonder? Fame from David Bowie. Hold on, I gotta turn this down just in case. That is crazy town. Here it is. When I looked down, it was 222, and it looked like 22, but it might have been 32, but it was like 222. So I feel like, yeah, there's like somebody who's trying to block, like for some of you, not all of you, but for some of you, you're meant to be very, very, very famous. Like very famous. And that frightens certain people around you. And I think that you're holding yourself back, and you're holding yourself back from your abundance because you're afraid it's going to make them uncomfortable, or it's going to expose them for who they really are. They have acute awareness, but so do you. So you can run and you can hide, but they're like, that's not what you're meant to do. You're not meant to run and hide from that. Oh, this came from reading 1 too, I believe. So there's somebody who, see how they're looking down into the shadow? Set your intentions. I know they say only do intentions on a new moon, and full moons are about releasing and wishes and all that, but wherever you set your intention is where it's going to be. So set your intention on wishes, on your wishes, on what you want to be. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be famous. If you want to be famous, it's probably because you're meant to be famous. And if you're meant to be famous, it's because, you think every day is easy for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? No. But they put themselves out there like warriors, like gods and goddesses, right? Showing the world that you can still have a beautiful heart and be talented and beautiful. You can be anything you want to be. That's what they're showing you. Look at him. He's not the norm for the football player. Like, he likes to dress in different clothes and things, you know what I mean? But who cares? So I'm going to read this one because I feel like some of you need to hear this. It says, be clear and decisive. Focus on what you really want and be bold with your request to the universe. So when you're out there asking Spirit, when you're like, if I can dream of another land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why, oh why can't that dream come true? That's from Elvis, right? So we know that the moon goes in cycles, but set your intention, get very real, sit down and write it out, because when you write it out, this card is like, this orange card has been like calling to me, so I'm going to pull it out. I don't know if they want me to read the other one, but definitely, oh, look at support. Yes, like they cannot tell you enough, like you are supported. And you know what? You may fail 100 times before you get back up. Maybe you've already failed 100 times, and that's why you don't want to get back up, because you're like, what's the point? It's never going to happen for me. They're like, it is going to happen for you. It's going to happen for you now. And now is the time where you need to believe it the most. And now is the time that people are going to want to steal your thunder. Now is the time where you need your hope the most. Now is the time that you need to feel and know that you are supported and you are loved. You may have lost your flame. You may, right? Like you're at the end, you feel beat to shit. You may want to look at reading too. We talked about that. But you know what? You still got to hold on hope. You got to push forward, right? Sometimes you got to put your head down and just keep going. Just keep going. Push through it, push through it, push through it. You will find your people. And when you're least expect it, when you look up, they're going to be right there. Right there. Right there. Right there. Supporting you, supporting your dreams. They want you to succeed. Spirit wants you to succeed. We all want you to succeed. That is the truth. And anybody who doesn't want you to succeed is afraid, literally, of their own success. Are there any last messages, Spirit, for this beautiful, beautiful reading, for this beautiful reading 3? I love you so much. And Spirit wants you to know, use your imagination. We spoke about this in one of the other readings as well. Did you ever notice that a lot of these readings, they tie back into each other? Because we're all here, we're just at different levels of consciousness, and we need different messages at different times. So this one says, imagination. Envision a new reality. Give yourself permission to dream and believe in unlimited possibilities. Yes, believe in unlimited possibilities. You got this. You got this. Put all of your dreams and your hopes and your wishes on this moon. And if it doesn't happen automatically, that's okay. Like we've said before, you placed your order. You don't go in and harass the chef until your food's ready. In divine timing, when it's ready, when it's time, it will show itself. I promise you. It will show itself. But work with the cycles of the moon. Right? Because when you're going to look at all this light around them going towards the full moon, and when you're done, you're still going to keep going, because after the full moon, we go into different transitions, right? Until we get to the last phase, the 8th phase of rest and restore. And you'll keep going through the moon cycles. And you keep putting that energy out there. And when it's time, every possibility will be presented to you that you need at the exact time you need it. And this says, raise your standards. Ugh, I need my glasses for this one. This is powerful. Raise your standards. Elevate your expectations. You have unlimited potential. Yes, because we've only been told that we should have standards. We've only been told that we only have so much potential. But we have endless potential. We have endless potential. That's how they control us. By telling, oh my gosh, I was like, wait, is this the same card? Because look, it's the backside. Look at that. Look at that. It's time for a new adventure for some of you guys. A whole new path. It's here. It's here. You're almost there. Dare to do things differently. Manifest your travel dreams and move to a new location. So those are 3 different things. They may apply to all of you, but they may just be those 3 things for like one thing for like 10 of you, one thing, you know what I mean? So dare to do things differently. Change your habits. Change your habits and you change your life. Some guy, I saw something recently about that, and it's so true, and his analogy was so perfect. He was like, if you're that person, like you get up every day and you go and get your coffee and you blah, blah, blah. He's like, what if you didn't? What if you instead spent that like extra time making it at home and being very present and making yourself like a nice herbal tea that'll give you the same perk and the same whatever, or maybe some green tea or something like, not that coffee's bad, but just saying like coffee's good for some people, but some people thrive on it like a drug to keep going. And you see it perpetuated throughout everything. You know, oh, I need my coffee. Oh, I need my coffee. And it's like, but it's an overstimulant. And sometimes we need to rest and relax. We're not supposed to be overstimulated all the time. We need to go to the rest and the restore phase. You know what I mean? And then the next one is manifest your travel dreams. So if you've always wanted to travel, what's holding you back? Start watching YouTubers, bloggers, people who that they travel for a living. You know, they've made it their job. Maybe just travel to a new place to get some perspective. Maybe you've always wanted to go to X, Y, and Z. Make it happen. Get your passport. Do it. Try and see like when are good times to fly, when are not good times to fly. You know, you can save sometimes like half the price of your ticket just by flying on a red eye or flying, you know, at a time that isn't super convenient. Maybe you'll be a little jet lagged or whatever, but you know what I mean? There's just a lot of things that you can do to make things happen. And then the last one is move to a new location. So maybe it's not about leaving where, you know, maybe you love the town you're in, but you don't love your place. Or maybe it's time to, you know, move out from somebody else. Or maybe it's time to move in with other people because you know what I mean? Whatever. It's going to be different for all of you. But this is all about change, 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 change. And that you're almost there. Look up, work with the number 9, angel number 9, but also in numerology. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's 9 and then 10. And when you take off, you know, 10's completion, you take off the 0, we start again at 1. That's why it goes through increments of 10, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 100, 200, 300, right? Because numerology has a purpose and a place. Also, I'm really digging these colors. So I'm feeling like for some of you, like maybe it's somewhere where you see blue skies more. You know, if you live somewhere that's really depressing, move somewhere else. You know, like what if you're somewhere like I live in the Pacific Northwest and I love it and I thrive in that weather. I didn't think I would. I moved to Los Angeles from Chicago when I was 23. And after 7 straight years of basically summer, I started to feel crazy. I'm like, I need to see snowfall. I need to like feel the seasons change. The good news is that there was trees planted everywhere that went with the seasons, so you still felt fall. But it's hard to feel fall on like a November day when it's like 89 and sunny. At least for me, growing up the way I did, right? So it could be that like, or maybe it's the opposite for you. Like maybe you're like, I need something new. Like maybe you need summer for a while. Maybe you need to get out of the doom and gloom. The one thing I did love about that was that it made my practice, my everyday practice, my routines better because I mean, there were times where I would have to get up a half an hour before I left for work because I would have to put the blow dryer on an extension cord to de-ice my locks so I can get into my car to start it. I would go and start my car before I got ready for work. I would sometimes let my car run for an hour if it was like negative 30. I'd have to literally go do that. Where like when it was like nice weather every day, it was pretty predictable. It was really nice. There was a lot of things I didn't have to do all the time, you know? But then when it did rain in LA, it was a little scary because it never rained. And so when it did rain, all that oil would like collect and like there'd be so many accidents. So, you know, there's positive and negatives to everything. But, you know, but again, I still learned like watching people like freak the fuck out where I'm like, wow, you've never driven in a snowstorm, have you? You know what I mean? It's like, so there's a lot of life lessons there as well, you know? So I think that's it. Let's see. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? I feel like there's still one like wanting to talk to me, and it could be for the shorts. Like I said, sometimes that happens. This one keeps coming up. So I feel like your abundance is really tied into this for you. And they want you to know that like it's on its way, like it's almost here, it's almost, yeah, that's it. It's so close. And sometimes they have me do this where they have me pull them all together and then I shuffle them and kind of clear the air a little bit. My little fairy bells. Let's see. I like to put these here. Okay, let's see. Is there another order that you would like me to put them in? Like this. Okay, so like this and like this. Then this. Then this. And this. Oh, wow. So what I got right away was like, you're like, I'm baby stepping, right? Like, you're like, I'm working towards it. And then like, I feel like you'll have like some little like blip in the radar, but you see how like they're turning back, It's like you almost get there. And then right when you're almost there, you give up. And they're like, but that's when you need to push harder. That's when the hope has to live. That's when the love has to come out. That's when, you know what I mean? And then I got from this is that you keep going. You're still illuminated. You may be a little bit tired, but just remember that abundance is going to be at the end of your rainbow when you get there, right? Because I feel like you started in the stars, like you started in the heavens, right? Like here's your light over here. And this has been like your journey. It's like forward, backward, forward, backward. And they're like, no. It's always moving forward. It may have felt like it was moving backward, but that's because they were clearing the path for you. Sometimes when it feels like we're in shadow or you're like, why, Spirit, why are you holding this back from me? They're like, well, I'm not. It's because you're not meant to see it yet. You're not ready yet. There's still something that you need to heal, work with, whatever it is. Or it's because you have the free will, but you're the one that's not turning around. But you will. And you will. And they're saying, and then you'll take that time to rest, right? Because you're going to go through cycles. And that rainbow will be at the end for you. Oh, Baba just came running in. Hey, Baba. Oh, that's perfect. I feel like that's such a perfect ending. It's almost like Baba is like here to tell you, yeah, like you got this. You got this. Thank you, Baba. Oh, she's drinking her water right now. Let's drink some water. Drink some water. Okay, I believe that's the last message. But they're saying, really utilize this full moon and Pisces energy. And if you see this afterwards, you can still use the Pisces, full moon and Pisces energy without actually like, and also it's always like the few days before and the day of and the few days after of the full moon that the energy is still intense. So you've got a lot of time to set those and put those wishes out into the world and set those intentions for your dreams and your wishes, because they're just waiting for you. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you. All right. Until next time, I love you so much. Spirit loves you. Take good care of yourself and each other. And all my information is on this channel if you'd like to book time or anything else. It's all here. All right. I'll see you next time. I love you. Bye. Blessed be. Oh.